Indianapolis 500. All-day coverage begins Sunday morning at 5 on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
What in the hell do you think you're doing?
Hey, John Boy.
I'm telling you straight, it's my way or the highway. So anybody wants to walk, do it now.
Hey, everybody, we're all gonna get laid.
And again, it's picked up. It's Darius Leonard, a pick six for the Maniac. Touchdown, I-N-D-Y. Yes, sir.
Sabonis down the lane with authority.
John, I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, busy day. Back in it here in studio. I want to thank Kevin Bowen for Friday. Had a great Friday. Tooling around Du Bois, Martin Davies, and the GC. Shout out to the Schnitzel Bonk and Alan down there. Had a great lunch. Hadn't been there in a while. Judy, who was the server, I had a great little goulash action for me on a Friday afternoon down in Jasper. That was really good. And Kevin did a great job. By the way, there's a reason lots of people always say, hey, the AM signal, it's for old farts. That son of a gun, though, travels. It was getting all the way to Du Bois County for me and coming in clearly. Bowen sounded really good. The blowtorch was happening for real. Especially does this time of year. All right, busy show for you. Our friend Ed Carpenter, ECR racing guy. He is the boss. He's also a driver. And Ed's going to join us coming up at the bottom of the hour. I thought yesterday was spectacular. Really, going back to Saturday, it was too. I know what you're saying. You'll always say about how, Bump Day and the Fast Nine and all that's really exciting because all that really was exciting. You guys aren't old enough to remember it. I respect it. But remember back in the day, ABC's Wide World of Sports, Jim McKay, the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat. You saw that yesterday. I mean, you saw that yesterday with just those trying to get in to the field for the 105th. And then from Charlie Kimball, who deep down inside absolutely loves it here. Loves racing, loves IMS. I mean, it is ingrained in him. And he didn't make it. And then you saw the emotions pour out of him because of that. Now, yesterday was really good. You talk about a fast field. The Fast Nine was fun as hell to watch. I thought Ed was going to get it. He got out there really quick. Now, I know what you're saying. If he had JMV sucks somewhere in the wheel well, maybe so. We'll see if we can't work that out coming up for the greatest spectacle. What's he been a pole sitter 3 times? Renus VK, his driver, was fast. Connor Daly, not too shabby either. But nah, it was a good weekend. Scott Dixon, man. Scott Dixon just hung around. I was telling Hagan this last night on 59 Sports Overtime, by the way, which was awesome. I love doing that stuff in the backyard. But 59 Overtime, we were talking about that, and he was just measuring everything, it looked like. Just measuring things. It's going to be fun on Sunday. We got a lot of stuff to lead up to that. I mentioned Ed Carpenter at the bottom of the hour. Kevin Lee's going to join us coming up at the 5 o'clock hour. I think Connor's going to drop in here at some point around 5:30. And we'll talk about being a part of ECR and what's been going on over there with the usual suspects. Ted Bishop also, the former PGA prez, is going to join us from down in Franklin at Legends. We'll talk about Phil Mickelson. That was a hell of a storyline yesterday, too. Now, again, that was more of a national storyline, although people, I think, were probably tuned into it here. This is certainly more of a local love storyline here as far as the 500 is concerned. But the Mickelson win was one for the ages, literally the ages, yesterday. And we'll get Ted in here and talk a little bit about that coming up just a little bit later on in the show. But, yeah, Charlie Kimball is legitimately, and I know that we throw this around all the time. Yeah, this guy's a great dude. That guy's a great dude. And in large part, we don't really know what we're talking about because we're not around them all the time. But I can tell you this, Charlie Kimball is a really good dude. And that yesterday for him sucked. Just the way that it is. I mean, it almost happened to Will Power. This guy normally is fighting for pole positions and positioning on the front row. And yesterday, I mean, he had to keep the throttle down, the hammer down, after a little touch of the wall just to get in this thing. Incredible. Good drama. Yeah, no doubt about that. By the way, we got you covered coming up on race day morning. I don't know if it's officially up on the board yet. Yep, there it is, 5 a.m. How many stations are involved? It's us, 93.5, 107.5, 1070 a.m. I'm going to keep saying that until they tell me to stop. IBC as well. So me and T-Cats, I believe, get underway at 5 a.m. coming up on Sunday morning. So we'll get you ready for the 105th running of the Indy 500. In case you did not know, Steady Eddie Garrison is in here for the ultra vacationing Kyle Udemark. Yeah, he just didn't go to like Florida or Alabama or South Carolina or the Outer Banks or Lake Michigan. My man decided to go all the way to St. Lucia. Single parent. Well, I should say single parent without kids. Husband and wife. We used to do those things too, and then we had kids, and we don't do those things anymore. Weird. But hopefully he's enjoying a awesome week off down in the Caribbean, is our friend Kyle Udemark. All right, a little bit earlier today, Kevin Pritchard, who is the president of the Pacers, met with the local media, and in case you haven't heard it, I'll play it for you, at least the bit that stuck out to me more so than anything else. And a lot of people are going to say he's still evaluating because that's what he's going to tell you. But to me, after hearing Kevin Pritchard today, there is zero way that Nate Bjorkgren is going to be back. None. And here before I play what I think is the most important bit, I'm not much on sound, but, it's not like it's 24 hours and I'm playing it for you 24 hours later. This happened within the last hour plus here. So it is fresh enough, I think, for us to play for you. But the thing that stands out to me, I mean, if you really wanted to, it's not like Kevin's not telling everybody the truth out there, right? I mean, he's kind of in and out of things, and I don't blame him because you can't and you're not gonna, but you finally do have to speak to the media as he did today. To me, if you really want or think about bringing Bjorkgren back, you could have also taught the weirdness of this past season. I mean, you could have just said it was weird. Everybody was injured. There were no fans. This guy does deserve an opportunity. He's still owed one more year contractually, and then that third-year option would kick in, which I don't think he's going to get to. I don't think there's any way after today he's going to be a head coach in year number 2 around here. And I know what you're saying. All right, so what's the plan? Well, I mean, you can assume that there's somebody out there that they think they want, they like, they can get. Maybe somebody is still coaching. Maybe somebody's going to get cut loose if they don't make it far enough in the postseason. I'm not sure. But this is what Pacers president Kevin Pritchard had to say about the possibilities of Nate Bjorkgren getting a year number 2 as the Pacer head coach.
He is our coach as of now, and I'm going to have a fair discussion with him. And my goal is, I don't think it's fair to look back at this season after winning 34 games with a dismantled roster without having some good things that I felt good about too. So I'm not committed either way.
All right. So if it's not fair to do that, then why there's absolutely zero commitment here? I mean, if it's not fair to do that, I mean, he is being honest, but at the same time, not being overbearing, heavy-handed on it, because after hearing that, I'm sorry, there's no way, none, Nate Bjorkgren is going to be back as head coach. They talked about micromanagement in the post-season interviews with the players. The players brought up micromanagement. And listen, I'm about sick and tired of that too. And this can't feel good because you watch Nate McMillan, and I know it's really easy, and everybody says that you can't bring this up conversationally, but you can, and it is fair. Because the Hawks are up a game in a best-of-7 first-round series with the Knicks right now, and we're back here talking about this crap. So, yes, you can. Yes, it is fair. I mean, you thought you were going that direction, and then the players gave you the input, and this was the guy that Chad had known prior to, and clearly this hasn't worked out. I just would want to know if this is more player motivated or just front office wise if they say, hey, this is not going to work. And I do wonder what the Simons are in on this too. But after hearing that, I can't imagine. I mean, I'm glad that it sounds fair. And you're looking at both sides and you're doing this true evaluation. That's great. But, I mean, come on. Are you really? Do you not know right now? Do you not understand right now that you have to move on? And talking about the players, the players and the personnel and, not being able to really see guys and this team play together. I think we know. I say this all the time. I think we know about this team, even though it has not been together as a whole. I say that all the time. And I think even though he was meeting with the media today and, answering the question of Bob Kravitz, I think he knows as well. I think he knows as well. I just don't know how you can be that non-committal. I guess you hope that maybe people forget. But I don't know how you can be that non-committal and then decide to re-rack Nate Bjorkgren in year number 2. I have no idea how you do that. I mean, what would you have to do personnel-wise to make folks around here believe in the second season of Nate Bjorkgren after that? I'm not going to suggest it's heavy-handed and or mean. I'm not going to tell you it's out of place. I just think if you're that non-committal right now, so what all of a sudden is going to make you feel better about it? I mean, you're not going to see anybody get coached in any games. I mean, there's no second chance to make amends, to show that you're different, to not micromanage, to have a better relationship with the players. To be more about the X's and O's and not everything else going on there. You're not going to be able to prove that, are you? How are you going to be able to prove it? So you tell me how it's going to change if you have that philosophy and or thought in mind right now. How is that going to change unless the people that you would like to bring in, maybe somebody you have in mind right now? Because it goes without saying, if you're non-committal, then you do have names in your mind that you're not at all willing to tell anybody publicly about. I get that. So if those names are unavailable or uninterested in your gig, do you go back? To me, there's no way the fans are going to go, oh, yeah, here we go. You're number 2. Let's all get excited. So I'll get excited about the guy that the team president was completely non-committal about in this presser today. Can't imagine that happens. And there's going to be more to the story, I guarantee you that. But that is the thoughts on the Pacers. And again, just these are my thoughts and assumptions because I do this from 3 until 6, and that's what is asked of me. That there is certainly somebody they have in mind. If you're the Simons, how do you view Kevin Pritchard right now? I mean, certainly injuries, certainly pandemic created messes, but so did the president. I mean, talking about, players not working well together on the floor and exit interviews telling him that they were micromanaged things they didn't like. I mean, the players' input was supposed to be a cure-all, and in fact, it has created more headaches in a year of nothing but headaches. I mean, there was no goodwill built after being swept by the Heat in the bubble in Orlando. There was no goodwill built there, but it seemed better than this. Tell you what, I'm sitting around watching, and somebody had mentioned this to me yesterday. Hey, it's tough to watch the NBA now because you don't have, these names. I thought yesterday was awesome. I thought yesterday's NBA games were awesome. I enjoyed Saturday. I thought these games have been fantastic. I don't know. Listen, and I fall in to this rut sometimes as well. I mean, I dig the past. And when I compare the past to right now, sometimes the right now falls short. But the past, if I were really to go and look at the past, there were probably ruts there too. I find myself doing that all the time. I mean, the past was great because we didn't have anything to do. I mean, we messed around. Rode bikes, played baseball, didn't have any responsibilities of life, weren't going through a pandemic. It was all good, the past was. Watching Bird and Magic and those teams play, it was great. It was a golden era of the NBA. So I guess I just don't try to put what I'm watching right now up against what was that greatness of the past, but it doesn't make what we're watching right now for me any less interesting. Like, I hung with that entire Utah-Memphis game last night. I like to see Dylan Brooks going a little crazy. I do. I wish they wouldn't be so quick to blow a whistle and to tee up or double tee up any back and forth. Because that is one thing from back in the day. We don't need like Robert Parrish bashing in Bill Laimbeer's face from behind like that. But the stuff they got into that now is deemed punishment-wise, suspend-worthy, I wish they were able to let that happen a little bit more. I do dig that. I mean, everybody doesn't have to kiss and make up after everything. I mean, you can be pissed. You're allowed to be pissed at somebody you're competing against. Actually, it's good to know. I mean, it's good to know that Kyle Anderson and Rudy Gobert don't get along. I don't know why it really matters, but for me as a fan, good. I mean, you thought LeBron James flopped. You see the Rudy Gobert flop from last night? I tweeted that out. It was like one of the all-timers. One of the all-timers. In fact, it was so egregious in a flop that Rudy Gobert should not at all be considered for Defensive Player of the Year. That should take away nearly everything accomplished in the season to date. It was so bad. He wasn't even in the game. He was on the sideline. Well, I thought it was great, honestly. I did. I thought it was great. I enjoyed watching the Hawks and the Knicks game, the Lakers and the Suns. I was especially happy that it was Washington and Philly because Philly would have given the Pacers a 35-point beating in all 4 games. And that's one thing I'm glad about. I mean, I want to see the Pacers in the postseason as much as anybody else. But can you imagine the absolute beating that would occur? Now, I wasn't here to talk about that debacle that was that final play-in game in Washington, and I was kind of glad I wasn't. Because that just sucked. And I'm sure everybody has offered up an opinion. You don't want to hear me double back and talk about crap that happened 4 days ago. Can you imagine the Pacers match up with the Sixers right now? What kind of debacle that would be? And listen, as I've said, with the fans around here, you probably were going to have a do-over. Well, look at all how you had injuries and the pandemic and you had no fans. I mean, all these excuses that I know that they're not allowed to make and we're not allowed to take. But all the excuses that you could utilize if you wanted to, and it's a debate. It's an argument. But I think now, with being as non-committal as Kevin Pritchard was earlier today, I don't think there's any going back. Am I wrong about this? Is there any going back? I mean, to me, he sounded like a dude. He sounded like a dude that's made up his mind. Because I just don't think you can say, I'm non-committal on bringing him back. We got to have a conversation with him. We got to talk about stuff. And also realize that this past season, I mean, really all this other stuff wasn't his fault. You could have just gone that route if you truly believed in year number 2 of Bjorkgren. You could have. You could have gone that route and probably saved some of the fans that, to me, would completely check out if you tried to run that back in year number 2. And also will check out if you try to run back a lot. I'm not suggesting you blow things up and make anew, but you have to make some changes. There is no doubt about it. I mean, just watch the game itself. You know that. And I still hold to my story that Brogdon and LeVert cannot play together. I'm still going to hold to my story that you have to have some sort of legitimate point guard. I'll stick to my story that you just can't wave a magic wand and these guys on the perimeter are going to play defense. And believe me, once they trade Miles Turner, which my belief is they will this offseason, once you deal him someplace else, you better find some people that are able and or willing to play some perimeter D. Because that is not going to work. It's just not. So if you listen to that from a little bit earlier today, is my evaluation of it off base? At all. Would you have a fan? You'd be okay with running that back? There is just no way. Now, Kevin also did mention that he's being evaluated by the Simons. Probably is. I can't imagine that the Simons, 1 year, 2 years, whatever. I can't imagine they want to pay a coach for not coaching even for 1 year. I mean, it is a mistake, if you deem it a mistake, that is not that difficult to make up for, although you do have to sell ownership about making that mistake, about getting the player input, about not finding the right guy, about still owing him 1 year and cutting bait with him after 1 year. But now, I mean, maybe that's the easy portion of it. Now you can just say, all right, Simons, if we keep this guy around the way this thing is framed up right now, the one thing that you really, truly love is to bring as many bodies into Bankers Life Fieldhouse once they're able all to go back. As of next year, those bodies aren't going to come back. They're going to be really skeptical about coming back. They won't. At least to me, not after today. You know what's funny, too? You see all these venues? Like Utah was near capacity. I think the only part in Utah that wasn't full was right behind the bench area right there, right? I mean, they had a lot of fans in MSG. You know how awesome that sounded? God, it sounded great. Well, that's one thing that you do notice, man. Fans, and this is cliched, and oftentimes when the players and or organizational pieces, coaches, media say that, it comes across as just kind of blowing sunshine up the rear end of the NBA or the NFL or Major League Baseball. But, man, fans really are. They're the life of it. You miss that. You don't know how much you miss it until you got a major taste after a year plus of it. You know how good that's going to feel being out at IMS on Sunday? That is going to be the largest crowd we have seen in well over a year in any venue. That is going to feel so good. Ben in Greenwood says, if anyone could convince us the Colts need to go get Julio Jones, it would be you. Hey, listen, I try all the time. I try to talk about wide receivers all the time. And the Colts general manager, Chris Ballard, he does not have or share a similar sentiment. I can understand the value, even though, was it Scott or Steve or who was it tore into my ass about Julio Jones being injured? Julio Jones coming here and being healthy would automatically be easily the best wide receiver that you have. And I don't mind what they put together. But as I told you before, it's not going to happen, even though it's been reported that the Colts had interest in Julio Jones prior to the draft. Even though they didn't address the position in the draft. Even though they really didn't address the position at all in the offseason other than to bring back T.Y. Hilton. There's a lot of even no's right there. But yeah. There is no way. Now, I don't know if I'm just kind of playing that off as there's no way to hope something transpires, but there's no way. John Martin writes this, the Pacers situation seems very similar to IU basketball with Archie Miller. You just cannot run that back again. Nobody wants to see that again. Time to move on. There's no doubt. See, in the Pacers, friend Greg and I were talking about this the other day. Like, IU went from anger to apathy. Pacer fans go straight to apathy. There's going to be no going to anger. It's just now apathy. Oh, well, I mean, you're not committed to him? Then why should we be? Why should we believe that things are going to be different? To me, you left yourself zero wiggle room if you wanted that. So, yeah, to me, it's different. You really do. I mean, you don't have anger with Pacer fans. You just have apathy. The hell with anger. I'm too damn tired to deal with anger right now. I'm just going to straight not care. That's even worse. And I've said this before. IU fans with a little bit of off-season goodwill built without a minute being played on the floor. I mean, that was therapeutic. Even though really in the win-loss column or nothing has been accomplished other than putting together a team and creating goodwill with the fan base again. They're excited about something. You imagine going into this season? Imagine running back this Pacer team with this Pacer head coach right now. There's not going to be any anger. There's just going to be apathy. And Pacer fans are going to be more difficult to reel in knee-deep in that apathy than IU fans would. IU fans just run right back. Oh, yeah, the greatness is back. Not so much with the Pacers. That's what you have to guard against here. Quick break, and we shall return. 239-1070. Is that Ed right there? I went way over, didn't I? And tell Ed that he always goes really long in that first segment. Ted Bishop, Connor Daly, Kevin Lee, and our friend Ed Carpenter next.
Something happens when we can't be our true selves. You can hear it in our laughs. Here's the half-hearted chuckle. And, of course, the I'm only laughing because I'm dating your daughter.
Oh, that's so true.
If you want to laugh for real, try having some Miller Lite with some friends. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin beer.
Miller Lite is proud to be the official beer partner of the Indy 500. Head to your nearest store to grab a case for the race. It's Miller time.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Marshall Mechanical. Owner Eric Marshall pleads with you not to fall for the free furnace or air conditioning gimmick.
My family's been in the heating and air business for over 40 years, and I've never had anybody give me any free equipment that I can pass on to the customers, unfortunately. It's usually a sales ploy to get in the door, to upsell you on something else. At Marshall, honest people offer great equipment at very reasonable prices.
Go to callthemarshallnow.com. Marshall Mechanical is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
A reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo.
What is a cash-out refi? It's using the equity in your home to pay off high-interest credit cards. Paid it off! Yes! I'm James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. With mortgage rates at a low 2.25%, you can save hundreds each month and skip your next 2 payments. You'll pay nothing out of pocket, and we never charge for a home appraisal if we can't close your loan. And remember, our local lending experts speak mortgage and love translating for our customers. Eliminating debt means putting your dreams back on the table today.
Updated bathroom?
Updated bathroom and a pool table?
Don't push it, Rick.
Get started with our fast and easy zipline tool at goldenoaklending.com.
NMLS 114937, 2.25% fixed, 3.195% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Siri, read me that text.
Sorry, I can't complete your request.
You want me to read that?
No, I got it.
Construction zone.
I see it.
Watch it.
Oh.
Oh my God. You're gonna hit him!
Oh, fuck!
When driving in a construction zone, be smart, be alert, be in the zone.
This is Kelly Watson, business manager of Labor's Local 1112. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, open your eyes, pay attention.
A message from Indiana's District Council of Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
And now, a telemedicine appointment without AT&T Business Fiber.
I don't know. Hey, Doc, so, what's the prognosis?
Well, based on your chart, it looks like you have...
Wait, what was that?
Sorry, I was just saying...
Doc, you're glitching. Must be slow upload speeds.
Yeah, sorry. I just wish I'd known the difference between upload and download speeds before I got my business internet. Anyway, I'm sorry, what were we talking about?
My leg.
Oh, right. It's fine, except for a small...
Wait, except for what?
Terrible.
Is your small business suffering from slow upload speeds? Upgrade your business to AT&T Business Fiber for superior reliability and speed at our lowest price ever. There's no annual term commitment and no bundle required. Limited availability in select areas. Visit att.com/businessfast or call 844-661-FAST now.
So I had no job, no car, nobody to watch my son.
A Care Source, true story.
And when I finally got a job interview, it was a half hour away. I was just stuck, you know? Then one of my friends told me to call Care Source. I was like, my health insurance company?
Care Source is so much more than health insurance. We helped Becky with her resume, childcare, and transportation so she could get the job. What can we do for you? Visit caresource.com.
The VA loan is one of the best benefits of being in the military. Get the loan you deserve and apply online today at HeroLoan.com.
NMLS number 1326241.
The Ride with JMV.
Look at all those ding-dongs.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Ted Bishop, Connor Daly, Kevin Lee. A little bit later on, I'll get back to the Pacers coaching conversation. You guys want me to plead to the Colts for Julio Jones, too? I don't know what more I can do as far as wide receivers are concerned. I've gone all the way, baby. Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline right now. He is the boss. He is the driver. Ed Carpenter Racing. Ed Carpenter goes 231.504 in the Fast 9. I mean, you can't go 231.7 or 232. I mean, what? What the hell? Come on.
Well, I did one 232. I just couldn't do 4 232s. But
what are you doing taking your foot off the hammer? What are you doing?
I didn't take my foot off the hammer. They just slow down. They just slow down as you wear that Firestone rubber off.
Did you hit a little gust from the gods out there too? You think did the conditions at all hinder you?
Oh man, the difference in Renus and I's time, it honestly could have been a fart, to tell you the truth. Like there was 0.007 of a mile an hour over 4 laps. That's a gust of wind or hitting a bug, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, the cicadas are flying around. Did you hit one of those things? I'll tell you what, by the way, I'm using that it could have been a fart from now on. That's no longer yours. That's mine.
I saved that for you.
That's great. I think that's fantastic. You could have hit a cicada or something like that.
I didn't hit one of those. They're too big. I would have seen that.
Man, well, I always root for you. I thought, man, you came out of the gate and you were just firing away, and I thought, you got this. And you guys were all right there together too, and then you got Dixon just kind of in the weeds waiting there. And I'm assuming you probably knew that was probably coming there at the end, didn't you?
I knew he was gonna have a chance. I mean, that's the advantage that he had earned on Saturday, being the fastest on Saturday, being able to go last. I think they trimmed in line after they saw Renus and I go, because they thought they might need a little more. So, I've been in that position too, going last, and you have the ability to react, to make changes, to trim it out even more if you think that's what you need to do to get it done. But he did a great job. It was great to have 2 of our Ed Carpenter Racing Chevys up there duking it out with Scott and Colton, both great guys, great drivers. So it's always fun being a part of that shootout.
He's Ed Carpenter of ECR on the Indy Moore Automotive Group hotline. We'll get back to the greatest spectacle, 105, coming up in a minute. But I did want to ask you, I was thinking about that. I was talking to Hagan last night, and, you came on. We didn't have the opportunity to talk to one another during that segment. But I'm kind of curious.
You waved at me.
I did wave at for a long time. That was like a 1:30 wave I gave to them, too.
I watched the whole thing.
1 minute and 30 seconds of a wave. But how excited are you with the growth of your race team over the years?
I think, we've become pretty consistent at the Speedway, with the exception that we haven't figured out how to win the race yet, but we're going to do our best to change that on Sunday. But, I think outside of the Speedway, I think we're showing more growth and consistency. Renus won the GP the weekend before last, and that was our first win in a good long while since 2016, and we've been knocking on the door. So I'm really happy with the way the team's performing right now across the board. We've had good pace at every race this season, and have been able to put one in the books, and hopefully another one's coming soon.
I think much like you look in a stick and ball sport, you guys just have a really good mixture going on right now.
Yeah, I mean, things are going well. The team's working really well together across all 3 cars at Indy. All three of us drivers, me, Renus, and Connor, have a good relationship. The whole engineering staff is really getting along, and the guys working on the cars, we've got the right people at all the right positions, and it's working well right now. So happy about that.
So Ed Carpenter's with us. I talked to Renus last week, which was a story in itself after he won the Grand Prix. But I want your thoughts on it. How difficult has it been to rein him in without taking away that incredible talent he has at driving? Because he's a young dude, and I know if you've had to come down hard is relative, I guess, in definition here. But how difficult has it been to come down on him but not take away that incredible talent that he has?
Yeah, he's made a couple mistakes, but it's really not as bad as maybe it seems. Like he's super resilient. We're definitely not trying to calm him down in the sense of what makes him so good. Just trying to make sure he understands, when he does make a mistake, what the thought process is and what he can do better next time. And and that's where he's really strong. Is he learns quickly from his mistakes. Is we all make mistakes, and some people learn quicker than others from them. But he's definitely progressing rapidly, and he's a heck of a driver.
What makes him at such a young age as good as he has been?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to ever fully know, but I think he's got a ton of just natural ability. He wants it really badly. He's super passionate about what he does. He works very hard. So I think his work ethic combined with his God-given ability, is he pushes hard. So happy he's on the squad.
It's Ed Carpenter of Ed Carpenter Racing. He's going to start fourth overall, row number 2, 231.504 miles an hour was the Fast 9 run yesterday. I'm curious for you, too, is as you get older, and believe me, you're getting older. It's just a rite of passage here. As you get older, is it become more difficult not to do an entire schedule and stay dialed in, or does it become easier for you as you get older?
I think it becomes easier. Tony Kanaan and I were talking about it. Like, he had a harder time with it last year, kind of going from full-time to a part-time, and he's already, found more comfort this year just being in that routine. So, you get used to what your cadence is and how to be best prepared and to try to peak at the right times. So I don't think it gets harder. I feel great right now. I feel like I'm in my 20s again. Actually, I'm feeling so good. But
do you really?
Who knows how long I'll keep going. Feel good.
You ever you and Heather ever talk about how much longer you keep going, or is that something you keep quiet about?
No, I mean, honestly, we haven't. I think I'm super fortunate to be in a good position with the team and have people around me that support us and believe in what we're building, and more importantly want me to be active as a driver still, which is exactly what I want to be doing. I've always felt like if you start putting an end date on your career, you might as well just stop now. So I've always said, I feel like I'll know when it's time, or when I feel like I just don't have it anymore. And I feel like I can still get it done. So, I feel like I'll know when it's time.
Ed Carpenter joins us. How difficult is it as a team owner and the boss to balance all the everyday duties, especially being out there and trying to find new sponsorship? How difficult of an aspect is that for you?
It's not that bad. I mean, all the key members of the leadership team at ECR have been with us since day one when we started. So, we've worked so long together now and have such a good, kind of flow to the season, of off season to season to when I'm in the car, that, I know they're doing what they need to do. They do a good job of, shielding me from things I don't need to be involved in, especially this time of year. So it's, just kind of turning one light switch on and the other one back off. And, once I'm done, when I'm done with Indy, I'll get involved in a couple things, but for the most part, not until my last race of the season is over do I really kind of get dialed back in fully into what's going on the business end.
I don't know why Kroger is not with you guys. I don't know why Kroger's not with me and you guys. Have you ever pitched Kroger?
I have before. We worked close with them back when I was slinging vodka.
Let's do this together sometime. I think we both need to pitch Kroger. I do too much damn shopping there.
I would rather have Market District and Get Go. I shop at Market District, and it's superior. I'm on board with them. So if anyone from Market District's listening,
well, you'll have to explain what that is, because
I'm a loyal customer.
I only got.
You don't have any of those down south yet?
No, of course not. I've only got a Kroger because Kroger was savvy enough to buy an old Marshall location, knowing that somebody else would probably try to move their establishment in there, making sure they keep a stranglehold on the market.
All the Marsh places up where I live on the opposite side of town have turned into Aldi's, which are also now nice stores. But I don't know why we're talking about grocery stores right now.
No, because seriously, because I don't know why Kroger's not with you. Kroger seems perfect for you.
I don't know. I've got 3 kids. We buy a ton of groceries, that's for sure.
I don't know why they're with me. That's where I go all the time. Nothing.
They're at that age where they're eating us out of the house.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. All right. You've had 3 polls in the past. No poll this year. But compared to those 3 years, how good do you feel about the possibility of getting that first win in 105 on Sunday compared to maybe how you felt in those 3 other poll sitter seasons?
I think we're positioned great. I've got Renus and I are starting 3rd and 4th, so we're going to be able to help each other up there. And honestly, I think our cars right now are probably better than we were some of the years that we were able to be on pole. So, I think we're really positioned well. We've had a great week of practice and obviously a great weekend of qualifying. So, I think we're set up for a really exciting day. And, that's the hard. We just have the hard part left. We have to go out and execute and not make any mistakes for 500 miles. We've got to be perfect out on the track, and the boys have to be perfect in the pits. And as long as we're up to that challenge, I think we can be there at the end of the day.
So I will pitch Market District. Is that what it is for you?
You can pitch whoever you want.
No, I'll pitch. I'll pitch it for you.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, I'll pitch it. I'll pitch it for you. Is it Hamilton? See, I mean, you're in Boone or Hamilton County. Which one?
I live in Marion County.
Oh, you do?
All right. I'm south of Hamilton County, so I am right. I'm right in Mare Hogsett country.
See,
Still got to wear a mask till June 7th here. Hamilton County, where I do go grocery shopping in Hamilton. I went in there, didn't have a mask on, but have to have one in pit lane where we're all vaccinated. Interesting.
I wear mine because it just makes me look better. I'm so much better looking with my mask on. Seriously,
well, I might be too. Maybe I should do what you're doing.
If this would have happened, if this pandemic would have maybe sprouted back in 1994 or something, I would have been a dude. Because I mean, from the eye line up to the hairline, I'm one handsome individual. But then
your hair is on point again now. What are you talking about?
I'm telling you, I know, but that's what now. It's just the rest of my face that messes it up. I for one may miss the days when I can't rock this mask any longer because I'm just better looking with it.
We can agree to disagree on that one. I can't wait.
No, that's okay.
To get rid of all those suckers.
I'm coming from a selfish angle because it's just beneficial to me. I'm incredibly handsome from the eye line up, and I recognize that, and the mask has helped it. Even though I don't like wearing it when it's hot out. And I don't know how you guys do that. That drives me insane. There are a lot of things like being outside, and I mean, 135,000 is going to be a ton, but. And I don't know why people can't be on the mounds and things like that in the infield. And
there's a lot of good questions that don't make sense right now with what the CDC is giving us guidelines for, but we don't need to talk about that. You know what?
No.
I think an important thing to bring up right now. I was talking to Bud Danker the other day, who is Roger Penske's right-hand man, and we were talking. He was talking about how the crowd was looking great for qualifying weekend. And as of, I think it was Friday night when I was talking to him, I think there was about 3,000 tickets left they had to sell. So I think we need to make sure whatever's left of that 3,000 gets gobbled up, and we at least hit capacity for what we're allowed, because it's going to be a great race. And the weather's looking cooler. So if you do feel compelled to keep your mask on, I think we're looking at mid-70s, so it'll be much more comfortable. So let's fill up to the limit that they're giving us.
3,000 remain, huh?
That's what he told me. So
why is that?
Sure those suckers are gone.
Why is that?
Well, I think so they had pre-sold whatever they got approved for, and they still gave people the opportunity to defer if they weren't comfortable to come out, which I think is great. So there was a number of gas customers that deferred to 2022, so they're able to resell those tickets that had been approved.
We get to this.
There are some tickets to sell.
All right.
So let's keep the word out.
How about that, too? Ed Carpenter with us. Before I let you go, this has been a staple of this show over, I don't know, more than just a handful of years. I notoriously pick you to win. Alas, over these years, you have not won, and I always give you the option. Would you like me, again, to pick somebody else this year or continue to go with you? Is there any connection there that may be a hindrance to you winning?
No, I don't believe in any of those things. You should pick with your head or your heart or whatever you go with. And if that's me, I've got no problem with that.
So you're not superstitious at all?
Nope.
Seriously. You got to become a little bit superstitious. You got to.
I'm not.
That's an edge.
I am not superstitious. It's not part of my makeup.
I mean, I'm an albatross. I'm an albatross around a lot of necks. So, I mean, you got to keep that in mind. I just don't want to be that to you.
Nope, I've got no issues.
Now,
you can do whatever you please.
How can you not have a single superstition?
Just because to me, whether it's, what socks I'm wearing or what color my car is or peanuts at a racetrack is a big one for a lot of people. I have no idea how a peanut shell can have any effect on the outcome of my day. I can't find any correlation to that. So I don't know.
You don't know what a peanut shell or not going in a middle door for the first time in 11 years or stepping on a crack or not turning around and going the other direction if a black cat crosses your path. I mean, I think it's more than logical to believe that maybe this might have a bearing.
I don't have time to worry about all those things. I don't know. It is what it is.
All right. I don't know how many years running it is, but you're going to be my call again. Because I think one of these days, I guess what it is about is, A, you know how much I want you to win. B, it also comes down to believing that you can, and at some point that's going to happen. So, but I always give you the option though every year, and if you want me to go ahead and stop being that clear albatross around your neck, keeping you from your first 500 win, then just let me know and I'll stop.
I would be, if I felt that was an issue, I would be honest with you. I think you know that. So.
All right, man. It's good to hear from you. Hey, I'm going to be out there beginning at 5 a.m., and I know I always give you this option. If you want to slide by, you certainly can. If you have other things going on, which I assume you probably do, that's okay as well.
If for some reason I can't sleep and I'm up at 5, I'll give you a call.
Why don't you? Yeah, just text me that you're going to call in, and I'll make sure you get right in, and we'll chat you up. But go get them coming up on Sunday, and I tell you what, seeing 135 out there is – I like watching these NBA games, the playoff games with fans in the stands has been awesome for me. That's going to be even more awesome on Sunday. It will.
It's unbelievable. The just how different it is having people, fans, friends there out enjoying what we do with us again. It makes it so much more fun. We knew that it wasn't the same last year and when we ran it in August with no one there, but it really didn't become fully evident until, when I walked in there day one the other day and there were people hanging out for autographs again. It's awesome. I'm so happy that people are happy to be there watching us and cheering us on. It makes such a huge difference for us to go out and do what we do in front of people that love what we do.
It does. Market District, shout out. Market District. I'll work on that for you. So
yeah. And we can't forget StoneX and Bitcoin and the folks that are actually making it happen right now. So
I would ask you about Bitcoin. I don't know what that is.
Now's a good time to buy.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I would ask you about that.
We'll have to do a whole nother segment on that.
Well, you'll have to probably get somebody smarter than me to do it with.
I'm not trying to cut you short, but we're hosting my fifth grade. We're hosting a graduation party at the house right now. So
all right,
there's kids rolling in here.
All right.
It's about to get rowdy, so.
Tell them you're on a radio show right now with a big-time host with a big-time listenership, and then get the cake out.
I'll make sure they all tune in at least.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, John.
Ed Carpenter, ECR, Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline. Market District. I don't even know what that is. See, I live in Morgan County. How would I know what that is? Back with you next.
Kids, tell your parents about Forum Credit Union's Sprout of the Month contest, where you could win $100 in a Sprout account. Details at 1075thefan.com.
Hammer here for Bet Rivers, Indiana, Indy's hometown sports book. It is race week, and Bet Rivers, Indiana has your odds for the Indy 500. So if you don't have the app yet, download it right now. iPhone and Android, Bet Rivers, Indiana. They'll match your very first deposit up to $250 if you want to bet on the Indy 500. Bet Rivers, Indiana. Must be a resident of Indiana, 21 and over, and if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, JMV for LD Smith Plumbing, Lance and his local team at 317-284-9526. The absolute best available to you 24/7, 365. Emergencies, just is it something that's not an emergency, whatever. The best plumbers out there for you and your situation, LD Smith Plumbing. Also, if you're looking for a new gig, how about Lance and his local team at LD Smith Plumbing? Got a sign-on bonus, health, life, vision, dental insurance, profit-sharing program, matching 401k, continuing education paid for, personal development. It is great. If you're thinking about starting a career or change up a career, check out Lance and his team at LD Smith Plumbing, 317-284-9526 online. That's ldsmithplumbing.com today.
Well, the install of your new Anderson 400 series windows is done. They look great. Piece of cake to install. I have them in my own home.
We love them, John.
Beautiful. They really last, so you won't be needing me to fix anything either. This is probably goodbye. Take care.
That was a tough goodbye. Worse than when the kids went to college.
I love our windows, but John was our contractor.
Anderson 400 series are the windows contractors trust most. Learn more at andersonwindows.com. 2020 Anderson brand survey of U.S. contractors. Visit andersonwindows.com for warranty details.
Only one team owner has an unprecedented 18 victories at the Indianapolis 500, and the captain wants you to be a winner this month, too. That's why he's given his general manager, Jay Smith, and area VP, Brett Rosie, the tools to get that done at Penske Chevrolet. At 96th and Keystone Avenue, they're working hard to give you exactly what you want. And the current line of Chevy products are the best on the road today. And you're in luck with guaranteed low prices as part of the Penske promise. How about 10% off the Blazer, 13% off the Equinox, 18% off the Trax, and a cool $4,000 rebate on the Silverado 1500 4x4 Crew Cab. Penske Chevy is also your lease return headquarters, so turn in your Chevy and GM leases and maybe grab a new one. The Trax is only $175 a month and the Equinox $199 a month with $1995 due at signing, and that's for 39 months and 10,000 miles a year. Your winning deal is waiting at Penske Chevrolet, 96th and Keystone Avenue, and online at PenskeChevy.com. At Penske Chevy, find new roads. Percentage off not available with special financing, lease, and other offers. Take delivery by 6/1/2021.
You didn't.
Yep.
I thought you learned your lesson.
I guess not.
Dad, the vultures are back.
Okay, kids, you know the drill. Windows up.
Gone too far looking for a good deal on gas? Try Price Match, only from BP Me Rewards at participating BP and Amoco stations. Learn more at bp.com/best price.
Hey, John, for BullseyeEventGroup.com, the Colts VIP tailgate, best pregame party anywhere. We're all trying to make the game day experience the best it can be. My friend Kyle Cadet and the gang at the Bullseye Event Center will do that for you. All you can eat, celebrity chef Aaron May fixes it up. All you can drink, DJ Skids, inside, out. You got everything you need to make that game day experience the best it can be. So get your tickets right now. You've seen the Colts 2021 home schedule. Make sure you hit up the Bullseye Event Center for the Colts VIP tailgate for each one. Get your tickets right now, BullseyeEventGroup.com.
PGA Championship Week and PropSwap is bursting with bets on all your favorite golfers. Golf is the perfect sport to profit with PropSwap, America's #1 site to buy and sell sports bets.
Hey, Indy. Tim Pearson here, founder of Chattanooga Whiskey, the only Tennessee high malt. Try Chattanooga Whiskey 111, the bold, unfiltered, 111-proof bourbon with notes of chocolate-covered cherries and rich caramel. We hope you love it as much as we do. Drink Chattanooga Whiskey, enjoy responsibly.
The Ride with JMV.
Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Ed Carpenter, Podcast 107.5, The Fan. A special Carb Night show, the JMV Takeover. Next door at B1057, beginning at 6 o'clock on Friday. I promise you this, it is going to be fun as hell. So we'll go 3 hours here And then 6 more right next door on B with the JMV Carb Day Takeover coming at you on Friday night. All right, quick break, and we'll come back. Connor Daly, bottom of the 4 o'clock hour. Kevin Lee's going to join us, too. I did want to get to this. Sean says, why would the coach have anything to do with bodies in the seats? How the players play will determine that. You have to, I'm sorry, you got to have a little bit of juice. You can't go in 1 year and then bail out on a head coach here. If you're going to make a change, you got to bring somebody in with a little bit of juice going. I think most fans are going to be pissed. We turn into a players pick the coach by crying kind of team. Nah, they're going to be checking out if they don't feel like there's much of a chance. If you're going to make this move, it's not going to be for an assistant somewhere. It's going to be for somebody that has juice. And it does make a difference with a fan base. As I mentioned earlier, a fan base like this one that will check out on you. Won't get angry, but go straight to apathy. Get back to that coming up in hour number 2. Ted Bishop's going to join us next.
Sports Center updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Save up to $150 off Big O brand tires now through May 31st. Only at your locally owned and operated Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Hey, Indy. Tim Pierson here, founder of Chattanooga Whiskey, the only Tennessee high malt. Try Chattanooga Whiskey 111, the bold, unfiltered, 111 proof bourbon with notes of chocolate-covered cherries and rich caramel. We hope you love it as much as we do. Drink Chattanooga Whiskey. Enjoy responsibly.
Hey, John for PAI, WeGrowHairAndy.com. There's a reason why when I wear a mask, you can see my eyeballs all the way to the hairline. Yes, the real growing hair is awesome. Seriously, just like I was when I was 13, and I parted it down the middle and feathered it and put the back pocket comb there, right? Just like it was then. WeGrowHairAndy.com and Darren Andrews, 888-724-5129, will get that done for you. He will. It's real growing hair. Just contact Darren and get that conversation and then get it started with PAI. 888-724-5129. WeGrowHairAndy.com today.
Hey, it's Rob Belushi from Bill Estes Ford in Brownsburg. Some things are going back to the way they belong.
The race is back in May.
That's right, Brian, and we've got pole position on the best deals. Right now, the EcoSport Edge, Escape, and Explorer are all up to $9,000 off.
All May, save up to $9K on SUVs.
Brian is peeling out because we've never offered $9,000 off our best-selling SUVs.
EcoSport Edge, Escape, and Explorer. Epic! Burn rubber into Bill Estes Ford and save big.
Want more? Trade or sell your car to us and we'll give you up to $2,000 more. With over 200 premium pre-owned vehicles, we have the best selection. And we drive you over the finish line with 99% financing approval.
We got the checkered flag on savings.
Brian, stop pouring milk on yourself. There's milk everywhere.
I just won this thing.
In the race to savings, our customers are the winners, Brian, and you need a pit stop and change out of those clothes. Finish first in SUV savings. All May, save $9K and get $2,000 more for your trade. Your key is waiting at Bill Estes Ford in Brownsburg.
It's the highly anticipated return of Kings of Leon. Kings of Leon, When You See Yourself Tour. Performing new songs and all the hits with special guest Cold War Kids. Ruoff Music Center, August 22nd. Get tickets now at LiveNation.com. The brand new album, When You See Yourself, is available everywhere now. Check more at KingsofLeon.com.
Hey, John here from Mark Dietel Realty. That's 317-755-4232. MarkDietel.com, MarkDietel.com. All right. We're past college graduation, now nearing high school graduation. You're thinking about downsizing because you have kids moving out. Mark Dietel is your go-to at 317-755-4232. If you're trusting somebody to make sure you get the most out of what everybody's going to tell you is an incredibly hot market, including Mark Dietel's offer, multiple offers in 3 days, or he's going to sell it for free. He's going to get the job done. A lot of people out there say they will. Mark will prove it to you. Mark Dietel Realty, 317-755-4232. Again, 317-755-4232. Online, that's markdietel.com, markdietel.com today.
It is time to go. Where, you ask? Well, I say anywhere. You know, being cooped up has been devastating for a lot of people. It's time to get your mind right and live again. Feel the cool breeze through your hair as you take the wheel for a road trip. And be sure to take AAA with you. AAA Hoosier Motor Club is the expert for roadside assistance. If you hit a pothole, and we all know how easily that can happen, or your battery dies, or maybe you need a tow, or you just run out of gas, AAA takes care of all of it. And with discounts on hotels, rental cars, and attractions, your membership more than pays for itself on one family trip. AAA is also there for you 24/7, 365, and it's your best value for your travel safety. So do me a favor, do yourself a favor, get a hold of AAA. You can stop by an office, visit AAA.com, that's AAA.com, or call 844-GO-AAA-GO, that's 844-GO-AAA-GO. And don't forget to ask about travel planning and great insurance rates, both auto and home, because you don't have to be stuck on the side of the road to get assistance from AAA.
Just in time for Memorial Day at Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Get 30% off all patio furniture, wicker, Berlin Gardens poly, cast aluminum, teak, and more.
Do you need air conditioning service and need to find a local well-trained expert you can trust, like Family Heating and Air Conditioning? Find that American Standard Air dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
WFNI, WIBC, HD2, W298BB, WIBC, HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
Hey, Tuesday's Fan Morning Show means more Indy 500 preview, the latest from Colts camp, and Kevin Pritchard's press conference. What did we learn about the Pacers? We'll talk about that starting at 7.
The Ride with JMV.
Hey, my buddy, Swanson, full steam ahead, over there. I want to go over there. I'll move over, Swanson, I'm driving.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
Steady Eddie Garrison just wrote down the phone number on his arm. If you guys see that on YouTube Live. Ted Bishop's going to join us in just a second. Doug Thrasher tweeted me this: if the head coach of an NBA team puts butts in the seats, you're doing it the wrong way. Players League, get rid of Brogdon, keep Miles. Listen, I'm telling you, if you're going to make a change after 1 year, you're not going to bring in somebody. I know everybody's against the recycled stuff, but you're not going to bring in somebody that's off somebody else's bench. It's just not going to happen. It's about the overall product, too. I'm not suggesting they don't need to make personnel changes. I've been adamant about that. JMV, why do you keep mentioning Julio Jones? I don't keep mentioning Julio Jones. They keep mentioning the Colts with Julio Jones. It's they. It's not me. Get off my ass. You know where I stand on wide receivers. Oh, I know. Last year, 9 games. He's all the time injured. He's old. 2019, I think he played in 15. 2018, he played in 16. 99 catches in 2019, 113 in 2018. He'd be the star of stars on the squad right now, but they're not going to do it. And I'm not the one that keeps bringing it up. So get off me. Just get off me. Not my fault. But you know where I stand. Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline right now. He is the former PGA of America president. He's down at Legend, the professional, the awesome Ted Bishop. He joins us. Hello, Ted.
Hey, JMB. How you doing?
Hey, give me a little love as far as the course is concerned. I bet it's playing nice right now.
Yeah, it's in excellent condition, and weather finally warmed up. We've been busy, so it's all good here at the Legends.
All right, and people come out. Everything's normal. Normalcy is prevailing at Legends right now, correct?
That's exactly right.
We all need a little bit of normalcy. I guess it was extraordinary and certainly out of the ordinary. What you saw over the weekend, how impressed were you in the PGA Championship with what Phil Mickelson accomplished?
Well, I'll tell you what. I think you could certainly say that since Jack Nicklaus won the Masters in '86, this might have been the most noteworthy performance that we've seen in a major championship. And that's not taking anything away from what Tiger Woods did in 2019. That was injury related. That was a tremendous comeback. But when you look at the state of Phil's game leading up to the PGA Championship, the venue they were playing on, the fact that basically, he had to hold off everybody in the field pretty much for 2 rounds and stare down a player like Brooks Koepka. It was incredible.
Is it anything that you would have expected out of Mickelson? Did you still think he was major winning worthy at this point in his career, Ted?
No, I don't. I don't, and I don't think anybody did. And I always felt like I was president of the PGA in 2013 and 14. In 2013, Phil won back-to-back the Scottish Open and the Open Championship at Muirfield. And, given what his historical difficulty had been on link-style courses, I always felt like that was the defining moment of his career, that 2 weeks, in the UK. And I didn't think that he could ever do anything that would surpass that in the form of an accomplishment for him, even as great as his playing resume was. But to do it at his age and to hold on this weekend was incredible. And I was at Turnberry, in 2009 when Watson led, all the way up until the final hole. I was at the Masters, when Angel Cabrera beat Kenny Perry. Perry would have been the oldest player to win a major. There have been other players that have been in a position to do this, but for Phil to do it, and really, again, given the total state of disrepair of his game pretty much all season, it's beyond words.
It's Ted Bishop, the former PGA Prez. He's the pro down at Legends, friend of the show via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Did you find it, and listen, I want everybody to have some fun, and, clearly Phil was fired up by it, probably a little bit frightened by it, but more fired up by it. But were the crowds way too out of hand on that final day for your liking if you were running things?
I'll tell you what, they were, they were pretty boisterous, no question about it. And I thought it was a scary moment on 18, and it was interesting. About noon today, I got a text from our friend Tom Watson, who's he's the honorary chairman for the Open Championship, and he said maybe the PGA should take a lesson from the R&A on crowd control. And what you saw at Kiowa was exactly what you would see at an Open Championship, less the ropes, less the restraint, of the gallery getting into the players. And, particularly when you get somebody like Koepka, who, and he's been pretty vocal about this since yesterday, JMV, that, he was worried, scared that he might, re-injure, the knee and have some of the recurring issues that he's had with that injury. And that was a screw up big time on somebody's part. That should never have happened. I'm surprised the PGA did let it happen. I think the other interesting thing with this PGA Championship, the PGA approved the use of distance measuring devices or rangefinders in hopes that it would improve pace of play. And, the pace of play on Thursday and Friday afternoon was 5.5 hours for threesomes, and then it was 4.5 hours on the weekend, even for twosomes. And, I think that was an experiment that failed, and I'm not really sure why that was done either. So, there were a couple of, I think, questionable moves by the PGA in this championship.
Hey, Ted, is the distance measuring systems that were allowed, how do you view that as an unfair advantage?
Well, I think this, for recreational play, you got to have them. Everybody 90% of the people that play golf today, JMV, at any area golf course, have got a rangefinder, and they need them, and they do speed up play. But when you put a rangefinder in the hands of a caddy or a touring professional, with all the information that they already have at hand, it only slows down play. It's just another step, another reaffirmation of the information that they've already got. And it's just that there's absolutely no reason for this to happen. And they don't do it in any other PGA Tour event. They don't do it in any other major championship. The sidebar to all this is the PGA of America just signed a corporate sponsorship deal with a company that makes rangefinders. So I'm sure that had, something to do with that decision. But caddies don't need them. I mean, they've got all the information at hand that they've taken a lot of time to produce. And, it'll be interesting to see if it happens going forward. I mean, everybody knows my history with the PGA of America, and I take a lot of pride in still being a member of the association, but I didn't like it really when they approved shorts in practice rounds at the championship. I don't know. They've tried to do some cutting-edge things to make that championship look cool, and I'm not sure that they've been the right moves for a major championship.
Ted Bishop joins us. All right, I'm going to get your opinion. Is there a way that you can make or you can mix, and I know it's a fine line here, what is golf etiquette that we know with the growing Happy Gilmore, growing and younger with the disposable income Happy Gilmore crowd that we saw yesterday? Is there any way to mix that together and for it to be beneficial for golf?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it is. I mean, I look at the way the game is played today, and I look at how much more relaxed, our standards are at our golf course, based on what we want to have a welcoming environment for recreational play. I mean, our dress code's far more relaxed than it was 20, 25 years ago. There's a lot of people that have got music and speakers in their golf cars. It is a much more casual atmosphere, and that is absolutely essential if the game is going to grow at the recreational level, JMV. But when you get to the professional level, and you alluded to the crowd and some of the things that were said and the way the gallery behaved. The thing that's interesting to me, you don't see that happen at Augusta National, and if it does, those people they're removed. And so you can control, to a degree what goes on in those settings. And I've said for the last 5 or 6 years, you have two games of golf in America today. You've got the recreational game, which is the game that 99% of the people in this country enjoy at your local golf course. And then you've got the professional game at the elite level. And I don't think there's any reason why you shouldn't have two sets of rules and why you shouldn't have two sets of standards on a lot of things when you compare those two avenues of golf. That makes sense.
He is Ted Bishop. He's with us via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So, yeah, you got the summer ahead, and I'm assuming after going through this time a year ago, we weren't talking about very much except a great deal of disappointment because we were getting ready to enter a 500 weekend without a 500, without a carb day, and we were talking a little bit about golf then. But how have things gone since that point in time, and what you got on the schedule this summer?
Well, it's been I would say it's kind of picked up where it left off last year. I've been pleased to say that, there's still a lot of people playing golf. I hope coach the high school boys and girls golf teams with Crystal Morse, my head PGA professional here for Legends. So, I mean, we are really enjoying having a boys season, which we, didn't have a year ago. And, we've got a top 20 ranked team, and we've got one of the best, if not the best individual player in the state, and Damon Dickey, who's got a tremendous chance to win a IHSA state championship. So
is that our friend? That's our friend Brad Dickey's son right there, too. Yes. It's well done, Brad.
Brad's youngest son. Yeah, no question about it. And but that's something that's totally different, this year than last because we didn't have that boys high school season. So it's definitely fun to see that. And you're right. I mean, I think we're inching our way back to normalcy, other than I guess wearing masks at the Indy 500.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that was a deal put in place, Ted, and they're just going to abide by that deal. That's what I'm guessing.
I don't know, but I'll just say this, JMV.
Yep.
Thank God the Legends is located in Johnson County, not Marion County.
Man, there's so many advantages. I hear about that all the time because, especially during this, the one thing that never changed for me, Ted, is I went out. I mean, I was out all the time, and the differences between counties when I would do shows, it was incredible. It really was.
Yeah, no doubt.
But, hey, it is always a pleasure. I can't wait for the JMV Sucks Golf outing coming at us again in the month of October. But I'll get out there sometime and see you, and at the very least, we'll ride around a little bit and check out the course because to me, even more so than playing golf, for me, just riding around out there is a very soothing, entertaining time that I enjoy a great deal.
Well, you're welcome to do that anytime you want, JMV.
All right, Ted, I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, man.
It's Ted Bishop right there. He's the former PGA of America president. Talking about Mickelson yesterday, the crowds yesterday in the PGA Championship. Good stuff. Hey, by the way, I got to get back with you here, and I apologize. Matthew Richards, because I got caught up in some things. Matthew was curious about this. Who are your mole guys again? I have an entire city of them under my lawn and mulch beds. Send help. All right, here we go again. Rusty the Mole Man was my mole man, and then Rusty was getting overworked. So Rusty last week dropped off a number. He goes, hey, just don't mention my name and my number anymore because I've got too much on my plate. But here's somebody that would love it and is great at what he does. And that is catching and eliminating moles. Brandon Lee is his name, Matthew. Brandon Lee at 812-344-1964. That's 812-344-1964. Brandon Lee. And according to the authority, and Rusty the Mole Man is the absolute authority. According to Rusty, Brandon, let me see if I can put this in. How should I put this in sports terms here? Rusty's like the LeBron James of mole catching. And let's say Brandon Lee is probably the Trae Young of mole catching. He's like the up-and-comer. But he'll get the job done for you. I had like 6 traps in my yard, and I think 5 of them were sprung today when I was out mowing. Rusty's still working with me. But yeah, man, those things have been a problem. So bless you, Steady Eddie. So I go down to GC, right? And I don't have a lot of them. I have a few cicadas around my house. But where I grew up, where my mom lives, is ridiculous. They are all over the place. Like, we go outside, and I blank you not on this story. So we go outside at my mom's. We're there on Saturday morning. Blake and I are walking around outside. You guys remember Raiders of the Lost Ark? Anybody out there? Anybody online, inside the lounge on YouTube Live, remember the film Raiders of the Lost Ark? Remember when they go in that South American cave to get the idol? He and his helper kind of cheated him or tried to get by with bringing out the idol on his own. Remember they walked through all those cobwebs, and his helper brushed the spider off the back of Indiana Jones. And then the helper turned around, and he had, like, all these, like, a ton of spiders on his back. That's why, like, Blake said, hey, you got one on you. And then Blake turned around. Blake had, like, 4 or 5 on him. I go, I'm not even going to tell him. I mean, you can't walk outside. Those things are just slim. They have no idea where they're going. It's like letting off a bottle rocket with big, ugly-ass eyes and just run right into you. This it's like back when you were in your 20s, you would hang around with a group of dudes. You guys would go out and get drunk, and the guy got like drunk before everybody else, and kept running into things and people. And the cicada's just like drunk. I guess if you've been underground for 17 years, stand to reason. Just run right, just fly, bzzz, and they can't fly very long. Just run right into you. But now there are a ton where I grew up right now. All right, Eddie has just written on the board, I have Dead and Company tickets, courtesy of Live Nation to give away. That shows September the 15th at Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center. Dead and Company. And that's still, What's His Nuts is the lead singer of that too? Eddie? Dead and Company? Know what I'm talking about? Hey, by the way, what kind of what's the earphones you have in right here? Are they plugged in?
They're like earbuds.
Are they wireless?
No. They've got a cord.
All right.
They got a cord. They go into the jack.
I got these old school cans on my head here. What's his name? Why can't I remember it right now? Your body's like a wonderland. You know that dude. And he gets all the chicks, or have in the past. No, why can't I remember his name? Now, you guys are all going to call up and tell me right now. I can't go to a break without knowing his name. John Mayer. Thank you. I got it on my own there. John Mayer. Like he's hit up every chick in history in Hollywood, right? Body is wonderland. That guy. Dead and Company. I'm assuming he is still singing lead for Dead and Company. That's the 15th of September when I play a Grateful Dead re-entry. When I play that, caller number 5, that's going to be your cue, and you're going to be a winner. Somewhere right now, Brent Halverson is going to be dialing because Brent Halverson of Heaven Hill Distillery is the biggest Grateful Dead fan here. Easily. Quick break. Connor Daly, a part of ECR, is going to join us bottom of the hour. Kaylee in the 5 o'clock hour. Let's work on some Pacers calls, too, and I'll dive back into the Julio Jones story as well with the Colts in mind. This is 93.5, 107.5, and 1070 The Fan.
Want to explore using Mitsubishi electric ductless mini splits to heat and cool your home or business? Learn more at AbsoluteComfort.org. That's AbsoluteComfort.org.
A reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo.
What is a no-charge appraisal? It's never asking for a credit card or charging for a home appraisal if we can't close your loan.
No risk on refinancing, but I live for danger.
I'm James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. Refinancing with Golden Oak is anything but risky business. And with our mortgage rates at a low 2.25%, you can save hundreds each month and skip your next 2 payments. And remember, our local lending experts speak mortgage and love translating for our customers. Removing risk from your next purchase or refi means you can find your thrills elsewhere.
Skydiving? No. Cliff jumping. Wait, hang gliding.
Aren't you afraid of heights?
Stop. You're embarrassing me.
Get started today with our simple zipline tool at GoldenOakLending.com.
NMLS 114937, 2.25% fixed, 3.195% APR, FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Hey, John for PAI, WeGrowHairIndy.com. Get that real growing hair back. You looked in the mirror and you go, man, I'm over 35, and there goes my scalp coverage. Poof. Whew. I mean, with a strong gust of wind, it's going to fly everywhere, man. Do something about it. Talk to Darren Andrews, 888-724-5129, about the procedures that will re-inspire your real hair growth, whether it's multi-unit hair grafting or artist robotic FUE or laser hair therapy. There you go. It's PAI, and I'm here to tell you, even Ed Carpenter mentioned it, man. My hair is glorious. And by the time I'm 60, I'm going to have all new parts. That's the plan. This is part of the plan right now. It's genius, too. It's PAI. Get your real growing hair again. 888-724-5129 at WeGrowHairIndy.com.
Springtime, Indy, and for 20 years, Rhino Shield's been covering your neighbors' homes, like Edwina.
So over the years, I've had to touch up the house. I just got to the point where I couldn't spend any more money on the outside of the house. And when I saw Rhino Shield, I thought that was the answer to my problem.
Rhino Shield's not paint, it's better.
I'd had painters here before, and it was usually quite a disaster with them leaving their equipment here and picking up things in the yard. But Rhino Shield was right on it.
Celebrate Rhino Shield Shield covering Indy for 20 years for 20% off the regular price.
The gentleman said, if you're interested, give me a call. And I said, honestly, can you come tomorrow?
Here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Don't paint, don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hey, Indy. Tim Pearson here, founder of Chattanooga Whiskey. After years of developing our own rich malt-forward style of bourbon we call Tennessee High Malt, we bring you Chattanooga Whiskey 111. The bold, unfiltered, 111 proof bourbon we fell in love with, straight from the cask into your favorite sipping glass. With notes of chocolate-covered cherries, toasted coconut, and butterscotch, we hope you'll love it as much as we do. Ask about us at your favorite local retailer or bar. Drink Chattanooga Whiskey 111. Enjoy responsibly.
Hey, JMV, let's get you set up with the absolute best plumber out there. That's Lance and his team. They're local. LD Smith Plumbing. So here's what's going to happen. Something goes haywire in your plumbing, and it's not going to give you a heads up and say, hey, buddy, I'm about to go haywire, and it's going to cost you a lot of money, and it's going to be an emergency, and you're not going to be able to flush your toilet. It's not going to tell you that. It's just going to happen. So make sure you're prepared and have this number handy, 317-284-9526 for LD Smith Plumbing. Also, if you're thinking about a career starter or a change in career, a service technician is going to be hired for Lance and his local team, and they've got great benefits for you. A sign-on bonus, health, life, vision, dental, profit-sharing program, matching 401k, continued education. It is great. So if you're thinking about a change of pace or a inspired new career, LD Smith Plumbing to the rescue. 317-284-9526. Lance and his local team online. LDSmithPlumbing.com.
And now, a telemedicine appointment without AT&T Business Fiber.
I don't know. Hey, Doc, so, what's the prognosis?
Well, based on your chart, it looks like you have...
Wait, what was that?
Sorry, I was just saying...
Doc, you're glitching. Must be slow upload speeds.
Yeah, sorry. I just wish I'd known the difference between upload and download speeds before I got my business internet. Anyway, I'm sorry, what were we talking about?
My leg.
Oh, right. It's fine, except for a small...
Wait, except for what?
Terrible.
Is your small business suffering from slow upload speeds? Upgrade your business to AT&T Business Fiber for superior reliability and speed at our lowest price ever. There's no annual term commitment and no bundle required. Limited availability in select areas. Visit att.com/businessfast or call 844-661-FAST now.
So I had no job, no car, nobody to watch my son.
A Care Source, true story.
And when I finally got a job interview, it was a half hour away. I was just stuck, you know? Then one of my friends told me to call Care Source. I was like, my health insurance company?
Care Source is so much more than health insurance. We helped Becky with her resume, childcare, and transportation so she could get the job. What can we do for you? Visit caresource.com.
Need new tires? Skip the long appointments and bad coffee. With Go Mobile Tires Indy, order tires online and have them installed at your home or office. GoMobileIndy.com. We come to you.
Turn to the experts at Howald Heating and Carrier for all your cooling needs. Howald Heating, Air, and Plumbing, where coming home never felt so good. Online at HowaldHeatingandAir.com.
Sports with Dan Dakich.
Ed Carpenter, you start the month, you get a win. Is there any part of this where momentum can carry you?
I think so. From a driver confidence, a team confidence, it's freaking hard to win in a series. So for our team to get a win under its belt before the biggest and most important event in our season, it's definitely huge just to give everyone added confidence on top of what we already have coming into the month of May.
Dan Dakich, weekdays noon to 3 on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Wow. I don't know what to say. I guess the only thing I can say is I'll promise to keep rocking and rolling and making better films.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Connor Daly in just a second from ECR. John Buzzard says, I'm going to go see Hall & Oates with the wife anniversary gift, August the 19th. I believe I got to go to that too because I've never seen this band, and I've got to go see Squeeze for the first time. I've never seen Squeeze. That's not any tickets. That's not Dead and Company. That's Squeeze. And we're not giving away Hall & Oates and Squeeze tickets yet. At some point, I bet we will. But I agree with you, John. I've got to go see Squeeze. Now, Connor Daly is row 7 for ECR. Nice run, 230.427. And we'll talk to Connor whenever Connor calls in here shortly. Kevin Lee is going to join us coming up at the top of the hour as well. I got time for calls, 239-1070. Email address, JMV at 1070thefan.com. Actually, Vic Bark sent me this the other day, and I wanted to double back and get to him. JMV, I'm obviously blocked on the YouTube chat board for both afternoon shows. I tried again Friday today. I can tell you this, I don't block anybody. I mean, you have to be a pretty huge butthole to have me block you from anything that I do. Because I have a lot of respect in the fact that I just don't care enough to want to block somebody. So I'll have to, and Vic, I've never seen you act up inside the lounge on YouTube Live. But I haven't blocked, I think I blocked somebody, this is like 5 or 6 years ago, who threatened to kill me or something like that. I don't even know what it was. I go, well, I may have to draw the line somewhere. But nah, I don't block anybody, and I sure as hell don't block anybody inside the lounge. I have no idea how. I barely have an idea how to do it via Twitter. So nah, Vic, yeah, you've always been cool to me. I have no issue. So bring back Vic. Bring back Vic inside the lounge on YouTube Live. Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, row 7 with a nice month going as far as preparation for the 105th running of the Indy 500 is concerned. From ECR, he's Connor Daly, who joins us now. What's going on, big fella? You all right?
Absolutely, man. We're ready to go racing. I've never been happier with a car during this month, so I'm pretty stoked.
I can tell. Before I get to that, are you not going to the Ryder Carpenter graduation party?
I don't know. I don't think I was invited. I don't know.
Well, neither was I. So we'll both be pissed together.
Look, it's a crazy month. Let's let Ed have his family time. You know what I mean? My gosh, he's been at the track every day. It's wild.
You mentioned this, and Connor Daly joins us. You mentioned about the great time, the positive time you're having. Give me some of the reasons as to why. Because to me, with this, you look the most comfortable that I have seen you out there or really anywhere in racing. Is that a bad observation or close to a ballpark for you?
No, I think you're in the ballpark. I think without a doubt, early on, we have noticed that our car in race trim, which is really what we worked on all last week, and it hurt us a little bit when it came time to qualify, but either way, the race is the most important thing, and every day we've been fast. I mean, every practice session we've been no worse than 5th. So we have definitely shown the speed, and we're not. And I've been on the other end where you're sitting 28th and you're like, well, I think we're okay, you know what I mean? But I'm not sure. But like this, this car, we've been up and down on setups. We've been working on some stuff, trying things. But when it comes down to it, even in the heat now, which we were nervous about, the heat last night was pretty wild, and we were pretty racy out there. So I definitely feel good. We missed it in qualifying, and it was really a shame to not be with our teammates in the Fast 9, obviously. And I think sometimes that's just how Indy 500 qualifying works. You try to roll up for another attempt, and you miss it. You just don't get to do it. So, we know what we did there. Part of that, most of that is my fault because of how I was slightly uncomfortable with it on Fast Friday and qualifying trim. But I should have just trusted the fact that when it comes time to qualify, you just peel it all out and it'll stick, hopefully. So, we're happy with it. We know we have an incredible race car. And it's a long day on Sunday, so I can promise you we'll be moving forward.
Yes, Connor Daly via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. You mentioned what it's like to wonder, so I'm assuming you had a great deal of feeling for what Charlie Kimball was going through, then ultimately went through yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, it's so tough to see. And I actually looked outside right outside my house, downtown Indy. There's a local business here with a Charlie Kimball flag on it today. And I was like, no, I respect that. And it's just tough. I mean, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway can be such a challenge, and the driver can almost not do anything else. It was like R.C. Enerson. I was out with R.C. Enerson last night and his engineer. And I was trying to help those guys and work with them because RC was a former teammate of mine back in 2016, and they could not take any more downforce out of that car. They had it trimmed out. He never lifted, but there was the only speed that was in it was 226 or 227. So sometimes this place and the way these cars show up, it's not necessarily luck of the draw, but sometimes it is, you know what I mean? And it's really, really brutal to see that. We've seen Fernando Alonso get bumped, you know what I mean? We've seen some James Hinchcliffe, a pole sitter, you know what I mean? We've seen such incredible talents get bumped, and guys with a lot of experience. We obviously know Charlie's got a lot of experience there. It was one of the most, it's just one of the most wildly emotional days. I really enjoyed being out there in pit lane. I stood in pit lane all day. My arms are super sunburned.
You just got to soak it up, man. That's beautiful.
Oh yeah. I got a red V on my chest. That's just the upper neck region is looking very burned.
Oh man, Connor Daly with the Indiana, the month of May Farmers Stand on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline with us right now. You mentioned Charlie's situation yesterday too, and think about Will Power. And think about Will Power, how close he was. I mean, he had to keep the hammer down after touching the wall and, going 230 plus or whatever that was. And had he not done that, he would have been the one on the outside looking in. It's incredible.
I mean, that was one of the most. I think I was sitting there in pit lane with Scott McLaughlin, his teammate, or Marco, and I was like, Will just smacked the wall and never lifted. Like, it's one of the most willpower things I think I've ever seen. I saw him afterwards before the practice, and I said, dude, that might be like one of your greatest moments. Like right there is like, just go and hammer the wall, but never lift through 3-4 and get that final lap. I mean, it just goes to show you how hard it truly is to qualify at this place. I promise the people watching at home, I mean, it might look sort of calm, but I can promise you that it is the most challenging thing in motorsport for those 4 laps, especially if you're having a tough day.
Man, Connor Daly's in row 7 for ECR. He joins us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Some of the reasons why this is the fastest Indy 500 grid and/or field we've ever seen.
Well, I think right now, going into the season, we've noticed it that it's the most competitive season I think ever. I mean, we've got so many talented drivers from all different disciplines of the sport, whether it's NASCAR, Formula One, V8 supercars, and obviously Jimmy Johnson and Roman Grosjean. They're not in the Indy 500, but you've got Pietro Fittipaldi and Tony Kanaan taking their spots. You know what I mean? So
no doubt.
Those are two pretty incredibly talented people, and the teams are also at such a high level. You know what I mean? I mean, we've got these teams are at such a high level. You go all the way to Carlin, who I drove for at Texas and have driven for, a one-car team, but still strong and competitive every race out there. So there's so many reasons why, if you're not watching IndyCar, I promise you should, because there's just so many great stories and so many good teams and drivers that right now it's just, I think it's one of the best years that to be involved in this sport or to be a supporter of this sport.
Yeah, I talked to Ed a little bit earlier. First of all, I love this description, by the way. I said, dude, seriously. I mean, 231.504. Could you not have gone 231.70 and then you would be on the pole? We kind of laughed about that. And he said basically the difference between that and, being on pole in front of Scott Dixon, he called it a fart. I said, is it some sort of gust from the gods that held you back there? And he goes, it could have been something like a fart or a bug hitting the car, anything like that. That's amazing.
It's wild. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I don't eat anything all day on qualifying. I don't want to put anything in my body. I don't want to weigh any more than I possibly can. It's just one of those things. You're like, I have to do everything I can. Like, how can we be the lightest we can be? How can we be the most trim that we can be for that run? I mean, you're talking tiny things. I look at my run. 0.1 of a mile an hour moves me up 5 positions.
Yeah.
0.1 of a mile an hour, and we're going from row 7 to row 4 almost. You know what I mean? It's crazy. But that's what we're fighting over, and oddly enough, I'm very unhappy with my qualifying speed, but it is the fastest qualifying speed that I've actually ever had there. So I guess that was exciting.
That's a good thing, though. That's a good thing, because that's how you feel like you're in a really good spot for Sunday.
For sure, and we know we had more in there, and that's, we're happy with it. And my guys, the team has done such a great job. The Ed Carpenter Racing team, we truly are lucky to be a part of that group. And the U.S. Air Force, I mean, they're very, very excited about next week. I can promise you that. We're all excited for the flyover and everything that goes with Sunday race day.
It's Connor Daly with us. Is this position for you, this car, the way that it's set up, this team, does it give you the best opportunity that you have had in racing out at IMS?
Well, when I was with Andretti in 2019, for sure that, we know that team also is a powerhouse. And, my engineer and those guys that year we had such an incredible time as well. And that was a really, really good one. But I do think that this car, I have had so few complaints about it. I think it's one of those situations, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like that. And we've made a lot of changes. We made it better from where we started. But I think without a doubt right now with the experience that I had with this team last year and this program, I do feel like this is for sure my best shot at being competitive, at having a strong day. We're not going to be going backwards. We're only going forwards, and I think our competitors know that as well.
So I had Renus on last week after we won the Grand Prix, and I said, so what did you do afterwards? And he said, well, I went on a bike ride. I thought I was going to run 100 miles, but I only did about 70 because I was, searching my name on Twitter a lot of the afternoon. So he rides his bike to Martinsville and back after that race.
Well, that's not how I would have celebrated, if I'm not going to lie. I mean, I would have been on the first plane to Las Vegas as soon as possible. But, he's a young elite athlete that is doing great things for our sport. And he is such a talented kid. I mean, I was like, hey, Renus, you want to go out for a beer, maybe celebrate? It's like, oh, you're 20. Well, never mind. You know what? Go ride your bike.
To Martinsville. I thought up to Monon or what? No, but to Martinsville. So, yeah.
Oh, I mean, classic Martinsville.
This is. Hey, Shawn Michael just tweeted me and said, can we get some pointers from Connor Daly on how to perfect the mullet?
Well, contact Jason Hagemeyer downtown. He cuts my hair. He does a great job. I don't know. It's something that the switchblade comb that I was handed.
Oh, that's so good. You have a switchblade comb?
Oh, yeah. And I tell you what, I didn't know that was something that I needed in my life until I opened the box. and I got a fan handed it to me while I was on the tugger headed to practice, and I got this yellow box, and I was like, "What is this? A knife?" And it was not. It was a comb, but I did not open it until the next day, and I was like, I should have opened this immediately and put it to use right away. And I'm very glad that I now own it.
That is one of the greatest gifts you will ever receive, is a switchblade comb from a fan, nonetheless.
Oh, incredible people. Yeah, I mean, this is why we love having fans back at the Speedway. I mean, it's a great environment.
Fonzarelli in the house. I love that, man. The switchblade comb. Well, very happy for you, by the way. I saw the pictures, I think. Were you at Carter's graduation or something? Did I see those pictures of you guys together?
Oh, yeah. It's pretty wild, man.
It looked like you had the farmer's tan working right there.
Well, I literally came straight from the racetrack. I was not quite dressed for a high school graduation, but it definitely makes me feel very old. And my poor mother now has all of her children no longer in a high school of any kind. So
you have a good excuse, though. Yeah, for your dress, you got a good excuse. All right, I mean that's a good excuse for how you're dressed.
Yeah, it's a hazard of the job. You know what I mean?
Hey, go get him. Congratulations on the ride, and can't wait to watch you coming up on Sunday. Go for it as well. Tell everybody over there I said hello, and if you want to drop back in before the end of the week, I don't know if you'd be looking to be on this show for any luck. I don't know if that's how anybody views that, but if you view it that way, then call back in, and we'll give you a little bit of luck before the end of the week. But, man, I'm happy for you. I really am, because you sound as if you're in as good a place as you've been in since I've known you out there, and that's a damn good thing.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I mean, it's definitely going to be a lot of hard work on Sunday, but I do believe that we have the package for it. And I also don't believe in luck anymore because it hasn't existed for me this year. So maybe this is the time that it turns around.
It's a good point right there. It is. And he's not going to ride his bike to Martinsville if he wins. Would you throw a party? Of all parties, would you throw it?
I tell you what, I don't like to talk about what happens if we win, but if we do, I hope that the entire Meridian Street is shut down and we just have an incredible time, potentially the greatest times of our lives, supporting local businesses and enjoying our great community of Indianapolis.
I can tell you this, if you win, our mutual friend Tony Donahue would never recover from this party, so I guarantee you that.
You won't see me for 3 days potentially afterwards. I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Man, it's good to hear from you. Best of luck, and we'll talk again soon, Connor. Thanks.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
It's Connor Daly on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. That is a good time right there. All right, quick break, and we'll return. Kevin Lee, top of the hour, Dead & Company tickets. We've got those all week long, courtesy of our friends at Live Nation for the Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center. It's coming up on September the 15th. So we got that for you coming up a little bit later on as well. We'll get back to Kevin Pritchard meeting with the media a little bit earlier today. And there is no commitment to Nate Bjorkgren. What does that tell you, Pacers fans? Does it tell you the same thing it told me that I shared with you earlier in this show? We'll double back to that and a lot more for you at 239-1070. Kevin Lee and you and me. Inside the Lounge on YouTube Live with 93.5, 107.5, and 1070 The Fan.
Kids, tell your parents about Forum Credit Union's Sprout of the Month contest, where you could win $100 in a Sprout account. Details at 1075thefan.com.
You didn't.
Yep.
I thought you learned your lesson.
I guess not.
Dad, the vultures are back.
Okay, kids, you know the drill. Windows up.
Gone too far looking for a good deal on gas? Try Price Match, only from BP Me Rewards at participating BP and Amoco stations. Learn more at bp.com/bestprice.
Hey, it's JMV, and we've all had this dream, haven't we? Yeah, tie game, bottom of the ninth inning, bases loaded. Well, FanDuel Sportsbook, you get more than one shot to swing for the fences. You really do. Because FanDuel is letting you place your first bet risk-free. That's right. New users up to $1,000 back in site credit if your first bet does not win. Check out FanDuel's new promo. It's live every Tuesday. It's called $5 Dinger Tuesdays. Place a $25 plus wager on any player to hit a home run on Tuesday and get a $5 bonus in site credit for every home run hit in the game. It's a max of $25 right there as well. It's FanDuel Sportsbook, America's #1 sports book for a reason. It is awesome. I've explained to you baseball-wise why you'll love it. Just use the promo code JMV. FanDuel Sportsbook, promo code JMV, and make baseball even more enjoyable with FanDuel Sportsbook. 21 plus and present in Indiana. First online real money wager only for risk-free bet. Refund and bonus issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max bonus $25 per game. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, I'm Piper. Here's my deal. I want the best for the least. Right now, Bill Estes Chevy has 30 pre-owned vehicles priced less than $14,700. Ask for Piper's pre-owned deal to get $3,000 more for your trade. Want something brand new? The Equinox is $7,000 off, and at this price, we can't keep them on the lot. If we don't have exactly what you want, pre-order your Equinox to lock in Piper's price. $7,000 off. $7,000 off and $3,000 more for your trade? Now my deal is your deal at Bill Estes Chevy. I-465 and Michigan Road, the friendliest intersection in Indy.
Hey, it's JMV here for my friend Mark Dietel. Mark Dietel Realty at markdietel.com, 317-755-4232. He is the absolute best. In fact, he's going to guarantee multiple offers in 3 days for full market value, or he'll sell it for free. In fact, Kieran from downtown Indy, moving out of state, needed an agent to sell his condo. He tried another agent, but after a year on the market, nothing. He reached out to Mark Dietel and could not believe the impact that Mark had. His condo pending in less than 2 weeks. Mark Dietel Realty, the absolute best, at 317-755-4232. Whether you're upgrading or downsizing, take advantage of the knowledge and just exactly what Mark Dietel can do to you with your situation. 317-755-4232. That's 317-755-4232. MarkDietel.com. That's MarkDietel.com today.
It's the highly anticipated return of Kings of Leon. Kings of Leon, When You See Yourself Tour. Performing new songs and all the hits with special guest Cold War Kids. Ruoff Music Center, August 22nd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new album, When You See Yourself, is available everywhere now. Check more at kingsofleon.com.
Hey, JMV here for Connecticut Water. Best water out there. Premium and the in-home drinking water station. I mean, I'm telling you, greatness across the board. You know what I'm talking about. If you have Connecticut right now, the Premier Series water softener, the in-home drinking water station. If you don't, go get it. Plus this, thinking about a new career, a change of pace in a career, they're hiring right now service techs multi, in fact, with great pay, incredible benefits, and you're working with fantastic people, Joe, John, and Dennis at Connecticut Water Systems. So get yourself an appointment and an interview today. Tell them I sent you, because I want to be a part of this new great career for you. Incredible benefits, great pay. If you're good at working at things, utilizing tools, it's a gig for you. Connecticut Water Systems. Log on, get that info, and get yourself an interview right now. ConnecticutIndy.com.
I'm Greg Gossett, President and CEO of ERPCO, your complete electrical systems and automation contractor. While you may recognize us from some of the highest profile projects in Indianapolis, did you know that we also perform residential work? Storm season is upon us, so keep your family safe with a home generator installed by the experts from ERPCO. Contact our service team. You'll be glad you did. Visit the ERPCO website at ERPCO.com for more information. We're a quality connection contractor. Quality work, customer connected.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. The housing market rush of 2021 isn't showing any signs of slowing down. There's almost no inventory, and it's getting even tougher to get that winning offer. You need a strong mortgage lender who will work with you to get your offer accepted. Don't let the wrong lender cost you the home of your dreams. The 5-minute loan approval only available at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
BetRivers Sportsbook has supercharged its app for Apple phones. And you can download the update today from the iOS App Store. Loaded with performance improvements, the new BetRivers iOS app makes placing your bets a seamless experience. Bet with a winner. Download the new BetRivers app from the iOS App Store or update your app today. Must be 21 or over to play. Playable only in Indiana. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Soccer Saturday featuring Indy 11. If this is your football, this is your show. Saturday at 9 on The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
I'm the bullish prince.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. Connor Daly and Ed Carpenter, the boss and a driver from ECR earlier. Ted Bishop, former PGA of America president. Also earlier, we talked about the PGA Championship. Lefty, the crowd. How can you get the same sort of reasonable crowd and also mix in a little Happy Gilmore-esque gallery? Talked about that with Ted a little bit earlier. Podcasts with each, 1075thefan.com. John Smith inside the lounge on YouTube Live says John Mayer is a chick flick, but one hell of a guitar player. Stansberry writes, cutting the mullet would have moved Connor Daly up. He does not eat before he races or qualifying because he doesn't want that added weight. Indy is being billed as larger spectator sport in a while. Lake Cumberland this weekend begs to differ. What the hell happened at Lake Cumberland? Anybody? JMV, why was Vic Barks blocked? I don't block anybody. I'm fine. Vic's always been cool with me. JMV, way too much cicada talk for a harmless bug that is loud. They don't deserve the coverage. The actual, I will say this, Ari, I disagree. It comes out of the ground after 17 years. Seriously. I mean, it's been out of the ground one time since Debbie Gibson was popular. That deserves coverage. To me. So it's been out of the ground. This is like the second time out of the ground since 1987. Long live the cicada coverage, baby. Guys are great. All right, we'll dive into this. Before I had a break, Casey in Ellisville writes this in Pro Sports. Whenever Team Brass talks about a coach, if there's ever any doubt in what they say, there's no doubt. With Pritchard saying things like, quote, no decisions have been made, and, quote, I'm not committing either way, he might as well be telling us that Bjorkgren is as good as gone. I could not agree more. Could not agree more. Hey, Vic, I'm on it for you. I'm trying to find out. There's no rhyme, no reason why you should be blocked. I cannot live in a world of being blocked unless it's just deeply rooted in incredible jackassery. I'm on the case. Kevin Lee, other side. We'll dive back into the Pacer conversation and Julio Jones. Your thoughts on that and more. 5 o'clock hour next.
Right now, it's a seller's market. I'm Patrick Keller with Crest Point Real Estate. Get your free home value estimate from me in 60 seconds at sellwithpatrick.com.
Hey, Indy. Tim Piersont here, founder of Chattanooga Whiskey. After years of developing hundreds of malt-forward bourbon recipes at our distillery in downtown Chattanooga, we established Chattanooga Whiskey 91, our own style of bourbon we call Tennessee High Malt. At 91 proof, this 4-grain, 3-malt, Solera barrel finished bourbon with tasty notes like sweet tea and honey toast is simply one of a kind. Drink Chattanooga Whiskey 91. Enjoy responsibly.
John for BullseyeEventGroup.com, Colts VIP Tailgate. You've seen the Colts home schedule. Take advantage and make it the best game day experience you've ever had. And do it every week. Every week of the home schedule. It is a great home schedule. Take advantage of it, because going to a football game, making that Sunday or whatever day it might be as unique as possible, it's more than just the game itself. Just have the entire experience. All you can eat, all you can drink inside the Colts VIP Tailgate at the Bullseye Event Center, right across Capitol from Lucas Oil Stadium. DJ Skids entertains inside or out. This is the best pregame party anywhere. Make sure you're there each and every home date week with BullseyeEventGroup.com. Get those tickets right now. Log on BullseyeEventGroup.com today.
Don't spend more than you have to on your mobile service. Spectrum Mobile could save you up to 40% versus what you're paying now. And nationwide 5G is included in every data plan. Plus, Spectrum delivers the fastest overall speeds and has the most reliable mobile service, coast to coast, with no hidden taxes, fees, or contracts. Visit SpectrumMobile.com today. 40% savings based on a comparison of single-line comparable unlimited plans amongst major national carriers as of 1/27/2021. Fastest overall speed, most reliable, based on Nielsen speed test, latest FCC report, and route metrics.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
WFNI, WIBC, HD2, W298BB, WIBC, HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
BetMGM welcomes you to Showtime with a risk-free first bet up to $600. Simply sign up and use bonus code MGM600 and you're on your way to betting with the king of sportsbooks. Plus, with BetMGM's new one-game parlay feature, you can choose from hundreds of bet types and combinations within a single game to build a perfect parlay. All the action on all your favorite sports will be at your fingertips when you download the app or go to BetMGM.com and use bonus code MGM600 to make your first bet risk-free up to $600. Bet with confidence and turn game day into payday at BetMGM. New customer offer, paid and free bets. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years or older to wager. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hubler has it. Savings. Hubler has it. Choices. Hubler has it. Hubler has it all.
Hey, Brooke Hubler here with Dan Dockage. It's racing season in Indy, and Hubler's out to win.
Hubler Chevy is racing to buy more cars than ever during our record-breaking summer event.
Bring us your car, and we'll buy it on the spot.
That's right. Hubler will offer you more than you think it's worth.
Plus, we still have huge savings on all your favorite Chevy models and GM-certified pre-owned vehicles.
Hoosiers have trusted Hubler for 60 years. Great people and great service. Hubler has it all.
Plus, new Chevys include our exclusive 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty.
That's a warranty so huge you can drive around the world 8 times and still be covered.
Race into Hubler Chevy to sell your vehicle or shop for a new one. Visit any of our 5 Hubler Chevy locations. Let my family help yours find new roads.
Call us at 888-221-5101 or click drivehublerchevy.com.
Hubler has it. Hubler has it all.
See dealer for warranty details.
You've undoubtedly heard of the calm before the storm. Well, Michaelis is the calm after the storm. More than 3 decades of restoring damage from wind, rain, and hail. They've got your back, not to mention your front, side, and roof. It's why home and business owners beat a path to Michaelis' door, because it's always answered around the clock with welcome arms. Your port in the storm. From site security and tarping services to complete restoration work, they can handle anything Mother Nature throws your way. Seasoned and trustworthy pros who are never deterred by a little wind and rain, or a mother load of it for that matter. Water, storms, fire, and foundations. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call 844-FIX-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
Do you need air conditioning service and need to find a local well-trained expert you can trust like Reinhardt Heating and Cooling? Find that American Standard air dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
Just in time for Memorial Day at Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Get 30% off all patio furniture, wicker, Berlin Gardens poly, cast aluminum, teak, and more.
The Ride with JMV.
Ahoy, Ploy.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Ed Carpenter, Connor Daly, ECR Racing. Ed, I mean, you can't. It's a little bit faster. Ted Bishop, former PGA Prez, we talked about yesterday, over the weekend, too. Phil Mickelson's win, turning back the clock. The Happy Gilmore Galleries and more with Ted down at Kiowa. And tomorrow, big show for you, by the way, too. I'll let you know what that's about. Dead & Company tickets for their September show at Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center coming up. That's not Dead & Company. That is Primus. And Jerry was a race car driver for our next guest from NBC. He's our friend Kevin Lee. We affectionately refer to him as K-Lee via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. A tip of the cap and a job well done over the weekend. That was fantastic work.
It was a lot of fun, a lot of drama, a lot of storylines. Unfortunately, some heartbreak for some, and now we're ready to go race it next Sunday.
What was the story for you out of the weekend? To me, Charlie Kimball is not going to be the story, but he's somebody that loves that place certainly as much as or more than most. And I mean, you got the full meal deal when it came to the emotion of not making that race and how much it meant to him.
You know, whenever anyone gets bumped, that's a big story, especially someone that's, has finished as high as third. And I think he's finished in the top 10 maybe 4 or 5 times. But to me, the story was that Team Penske was in danger of getting bumped, that Will Power is starting in the middle of the last row. Team Penske has never, ever, ever qualified that poorly, or really very much close to it. And also notable that the only other time they've qualified this close to the back was last year. So this isn't just a one-year thing. This is the last 2 years where they've not had anyone qualify in the top 10, haven't been a factor for outright pace. And Will Power, the second greatest qualifier ever, was hanging on by a thread just to make the race. And then the car is going to start 33rd. That's engineered by a Penske employee. That's, it's certainly a female forward program, and there are a lot of women working on this, but this is a technical relationship with Team Penske. So, for Simona Di Silvestro, when the announcement was made, oh, fantastic, she gets a chance in a Penske car. Well, unfortunately for her, it's the only year that a Penske car is not the best car to have. Those race cars will be good, but they're clearly missing something with outright speed right now.
Kevin Lee of NBC via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I'm not at all suggesting this is true. I'm just kind of curious because certainly you're a lot closer to it than I. How many folks have outright asked you if the last couple of years at the 500 and the lack of Penske speed has anything to do with the captain having too much on his plate? Anybody brought that up to you?
Not to me, but I've seen it on social media, and I understand why the question would be asked. I highly doubt that has any relevance or bearing on this because Tim Cindric has run the Penske organization for many years, and the other people in charge are the same. Maybe one theory could be after last year when they were not particularly fast and not really a factor, even though Newgarden still finished 5th in the race, but generally speaking, they weren't a factor. My assumption was that Roger would say, this is our number one priority. You all get this figured out. And by the way, I know he did because drivers have told me that, sure. But it's easier said than done. So, no, I'm not willing to say that that Roger not being right on top of everyone as they do. And trust me, he's still checking in. I guarantee you Tim Cindric and others are still keeping Roger Penske up to date on what's happening with the race team. This is a man that's been multitasking for 50-plus years. So adding one more part of his organization, because you remember racing has, as he said, has always been kind of my golf game. It's what I do, for fun, but he's still running billionaire companies. So, no, I think it's coincidence. And it's happened before. There was a stretch in the late 90s where they couldn't win a race. They missed the race in 1995. So it's mostly just coincidence, I think.
Yeah, and multitasking is probably an understatement when it comes to Roger Penske.
Exactly.
It's Kevin Lee with us. Man, Will Power looked like he was at an absolute loss for words yesterday, honestly.
And that's kind of the challenge of qualifying at Indy, and driver talent certainly has a lot to do with it, and bravery, and they're just little things that the better drivers will do to extract the most out of it. But when you're talking about certain drivers at a certain level, they know what they're doing, and sometimes it's just not there. I think that was the case for Charlie as well. Charlie knows what he's doing. He knows how to qualify the car. Sometimes that's all it has. And on a road or a street course, there's always a feeling, because the perfect lap really doesn't exist, you can always do something somewhere a little bit better to find another half a tenth. A good car helps that cause, but on an oval, it's up to what kind of power you have, what kind of setup you have. And if you heard Townsend Bell at all over the weekend, he's referred to SCS, slow car syndrome. Even within a team, sometimes there's just something a little bit different from one chassis or how the car is put together from another, and it's just not going to be there.
So Kevin Lee from NBC doing a fantastic job per usual on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I was talking to Ed a little bit earlier, and I said, he just had the feeling. I asked him that question. He just had the feeling that Scott Dixon had that thing measured at the end, and that's because of his position, he had that opportunity, to see everybody else and then to make a run at it. It's kind of how you felt covering it yesterday. Did you feel like maybe, even by the smallest of margins, maybe he felt like he had this thing measured?
Yeah, I think so. And there is an advantage to going last. And I watched right before Dixon went out that they trimmed his rear wing a little bit more. And you just have the chance to learn from what everyone else is doing. The cars are all right there. So the engineers and the chief mechanics can all look and see what the wing angle is. Now, they don't know some things. They don't know tire pressure and some other aspects that aren't quite visible. But that just gives you a chance to get a read. And plus, Scott Dixon had 3 teammates that went out before. So they knew exactly what that setup was and got feedback from the drivers to be able to improve on the car. But they've just been strong all week. He's been my pick most of the last month or so, and certainly the last week. I'll admit I kind of went back and forth coming into the year between Newgarden and Dixon, but I just don't know. I think it's going to be a long shot for Dixon to be able to make his way forward from the middle of the pack. It is going to be a little bit challenging outside the top 10. It can be done, but odds are on Dixon, and odds were on him getting the pole this weekend.
Do you think Colton maybe had found something yesterday by virtue of going out there, I guess surprisingly to many, again on Saturday during those conditions, during the heat of the day?
Oh, I think he probably did, and that's one of the reasons why they did it, not only just for him, but to learn for others if they wanted to make another run. Rossi wanted to try to make another run late in the day, but didn't get through the line to try to bump his way into the Fast 9. And when I was talking with Colton, I guess it was to the end of the day on Friday when it was still really hot and it was a little bit tricky conditions, he said, I like this sketchy stuff. I like to put it all on the line, and that's the difference of a 21-year-old with no fear at all, just ready to send it at all times. So that works to his advantage, and Colton will certainly be a factor in the race.
So Kevin Lee from NBC with us. Scott Dixon, to most of us, is going to go down in history, even though he continues moving forward, as one of the greatest of all time to do it in IndyCar and an open wheel. Does he need to solidify a top 5, a top 3 ranking even of all time by winning another 500?
Well, it certainly helps. I think most people in the sport are already going to put him very high, maybe even as much as top 3 or top 5, and that's always debatable, especially when you're talking about different eras and different cars. But adding another Indy 500 to go along with, by the time he's done, only Foyt is going to have more wins, and I suppose it's possible he sticks around for another 6 or 7 years winning at this rate and catches Foyt, but that seems unlikely. But he is going to catch and pass Mario Andretti. And if you add a second Indy 500 to go along with all the laps led, he's got a chance by the end of this race to have led more laps than anyone else in the Indy 500. And it's not just the one win. He's finished up front multiple times. So, but it's winning that counts. And another one will give a little bit more ammunition to those that want to argue that Dixon is on that, I know you love Mount Rushmore, but if you're going with that, you could start putting on that Mount Rushmore with another Indy 500 win a little bit easier.
I could go with the GOAT theory, and we can plural that and go GOATs. Is he on that list? And obviously, Foyt starts with that list. Mears, Allenser Sr. on there somewhere as well. Mario, Elio.
Michael, Elio, frankly, as much as I love Elio, he's a little bit lower on that list. He's not in the top three, and maybe one of the reasons why is because he hasn't won a season-long championship. He's won the ones that count, and he would never trade one of his Indy 500s for a season championship. But, this is a sport that's been around for over 100 years, so it's tough to crack, and especially, I guess we could say since the 30s or 40s or 50s, depending on how you want to look at it. But that's still a lot of drivers with a lot of wins. But Dixon has to be up there. He's up there in all the statistical rankings. And I think you also look at the competition and the number of drivers that are in that top 10 or 15 of all-time wins that he's racing against. A lot of people that have been around the sport a long time think it's as deep now as ever. And it's not like Formula One where there are only two teams that can win. There are 14 or 15 cars that have a chance to win every single week in an IndyCar. So to be able to consistently do that, I think really stands in Dixon's favor that he's at least in that short conversation with a handful of guys.
I was talking to Ed a little bit earlier, and the old dudes shined over the weekend. I mean, they really did when it comes to Dixon, and then Ed, and you mentioned Kanaan and Elio. It was a pretty good weekend for the old fellas.
Ryan Hunter-Reay is going to start in row 3. I think there's, 8 over 40, and they're all contenders. I'm not sure really that Sebastian Bourdais has the car to do a whole lot, and I'm not sure that Montoya looks like he really has a car to be that much of a factor, but Pagenaud's going to be a long shot. Well, Pagenaud's not 40. He's still in his upper 30s at this point, but he's another one of the veteran drivers. But as much as I think Colton Herta and Rinus VeeKay will be in play and they can win the race, I start with the veterans and probably go to them in the next tier group. Kanaan can win this race. Tony Kanaan can win this race because the car is good. He knows what he's doing. Ed Carpenter can win this race. I'd put Elio just a tick below that, but Elio could be a factor as well. He will be a factor, and he could win.
So Kevin Lee via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. All right, who do you like coming up on Sunday?
Dixon. I always break it down in tiers, and I usually come up with, like 3 or 4 tiers, and I'll have 3 or 4 drivers that, I think, it's hard to pick, and I kind of cover my bases.
Sure.
But I've decided to just whittle it down and go more out on a limb. So I have in tier 1, I have Scott Dixon and Scott Dixon alone. And then I have some others, kind of in the next tier, maybe call it a tier 1A. And that's Rossi, Kanaan, Herta. I think Herta has enough experience, even at 21 years old. I think he's smart enough. I think having his dad on the stand, who, by the way, has won the Indy 500 as a strategist 2 times, and there's not many people better than Brian Herta, I think Colton can win this race. And I've really got about 15 that could win. But if I need to make one pick, I'm going in pretty hard with Scott Dixon.
We don't often talk about this, and I know, for one, I have never talked about this, but I love that you brought it up. The level of importance for the 500 in strategy and for that strategist, and we rank the drivers all the time. How about we rank those guys for a minute, too? Because it seems to be, in these races as well, you got to have luck and good fortune, there's no question, but those guys are incredibly valuable, especially the better ones.
And not only that, the team. You're talking 6. You could do it on 5 pit stops, but it has to work out perfectly with the timing of some yellows and so forth. But it's probably going to be 6, 7, maybe even 8 pit stops. So look at that as well. That's one of the reasons why it's so difficult for a one-off to win it, because the crew guys have not been doing pit stops all season long, and maybe the strategist hasn't been doing this as much. There's, in some cases, a reason why they're not on the primary team. But, yeah, you need to make the right calls at the right time. We never like to hear about fuel savings. We like to just see racing, but it is and always has been a part of racing. If you can eliminate one pit stop, or more importantly, make it happen at the right time. On a road course, you want to pit right before a caution comes out, then everyone else pits, and you cycle to the front. It's the opposite on a big oval like Indianapolis. You want to stay out. If everyone else has made their first stop on lap 31 and you're stretching fuel to get to lap 33 and a caution comes out on lap 32, you stay as the leader, or you move up to the leader. So those are the kind of things where you have to be on top of things as far as what the options are.
All right, with you saying that about the one-off, how much of an opportunity do you give Elio, who has had a really good run of it up to this point in this month of May?
It's a little better than your typical one-off, even though this is his first race of the season. They are doing 6 races this year, so they didn't just assemble guys that have another job just to come in and work for 2 weeks. So this is mostly their sports car crew, and that's one of the reasons why he didn't do the road course race last weekend, because the Meyer-Shank sports car team was running in IMSA at Mid-Ohio. So these are sharp guys, almost all of them, if not all of them. I think all of them have crewed a car in IndyCar before. So yeah, it's maybe just a slight disadvantage that they've not been doing it, but there's a lot of practice at Indy. So I give – this isn't just a pure one-off like Dan Weldon was when he won the race, or like Elio was last year. But it was a Penske car, so that's a different situation too. But it's still a one-off, and it oftentimes decides things.
Before I let you go, I know a little bit, I guess enough to be dangerous. I think Michael Shank was when it was the IRL back in the late 90s, right? One season as a driver. For those that may not know, and add a little bit more background to me about Michael Shank, who I know a lot of people have talked about, certainly got a lot of airtime over the weekend in that team he has, and Elio's a part of it.
Michael is a self-made man, so he was someone that worked to become a driver, working in junior Formula Series, and did work his way up, and I think did run
I thought it was 1 year.
IRL race. Yeah, and maybe just 1 or 2, and I think it was more because the driver that he had lined up, something fell through, and it was, well, I guess I can drive the car. Right. I don't think, I think at some point very early he realized, I'm not going to make it big time as a driver, but I do understand the business, and I'm going to put a team together. And he worked in Junior Formula Series. Sam Hornish ran for him in Atlantics, back in the, I guess it would have been the late 90s, early 2000s. Then he developed a very successful sports car program. Our friends Justin Wilson and A.J. Allmendinger, won the Rolex 24 with him, and had been working for a few years to get into IndyCar. It didn't work out the first time, and then he came back a few years ago and has just kind of built it and has come up with great partners like Jim Meyer, who lives here in Indy, and he was the longtime CEO of SiriusXM, and he joined on as a partner in the team, and now they're legit. They have the funding, and they're adding a second car part-time with Elio to go along with Jack Harvey, and they have a partnership with Andretti Autosport for some engineering expertise. So that's one of the reasons why those cars are good. Michael did it the smart way. It's tough to do it on your own as a brand new team. He's speeding up the process by sharing some information with Andretti Autosport.
It's pretty cool. You mentioned Sam Hornish Jr. too. I looked this up the other day. Dude's still only 41. I was talking about all these the old guys and old former winners that stepped up over the weekend, and I'm reminded that Sam Hornish Jr. I think is only around 41 years of age as a former champion, and basically not doing anything anymore.
I haven't talked to Sam in a few years. He worked for us for a weekend a few years ago, and I spent a lot of time with him. And I knew Sam pretty well, and he was always one of my favorites. But when you go to dinner with someone 2 or 3 nights, you just learn a little bit more. And then I would bump into him at I think I maybe covered a couple of the NASCAR races that he was running in at the end when he was part-time in Xfinity. And he said, you know what, I'm tired of banging my head against the wall in NASCAR to try to run 30th in Cup. So so I'm only accepting opportunities where I can win, and if it's 5 or 6 races a year, so be it. And he was in winning cars. And he ran for an Xfinity championship again one year with Penske, and I think he finished second. And then it got to a point where he just decided, you know what, I've had enough, and I've been away with from the family long enough. I'm just going to stay at home. I think he does some substitute teaching and things like that.
He does.
He's a great dad. Yeah, he's a great dad, and he's got a good life. And, he toyed with coming back and doing Indy again. And frankly, I think what happened at Vegas ended some thoughts for a lot of people, whether they were NASCAR drivers or others, of doing this again.
Yeah.
If he was a few years younger with the aero screen, maybe he'd reconsider. I know that's had an impact on Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson is thinking long and hard about running the Indy 500 next year. And I understand it was a drinking game. Every time we ask him that on the air, that was what I saw in social media. But Jimmy was a sport and played along, and I've talked to him off the air about it too, that he is – I'm not going to say he's going to do it, but he is going to explore it. He wants to test an Indy car on an oval later this year and just kind of see how it feels, because we all feel if he can get over the hurdles of, just kind of a promise to his family that, I'm not going to put myself in any super risky situation, but if they get through that and feel comfortable, Jimmy Johnson could run up front and maybe win the Indianapolis 500 now that he has some experience in those cars.
Hey, by the way, before I let you go, Letarte saved his ass yesterday when he rolled into that day Indianapolis 500 with Logan Folks. I heard it, but he saved himself. He saved it.
And he caught himself pretty quickly.
It was like willpower, hitting the wall and keeping the hammer down. He saved it.
Stevie's a good guy. I've gotten to know Stevie over the last few years. He came up, and I think I played in a golf outing with him 5 or 6 years ago, and I'll bump into him every once in a while. And he's worked on our sports car crew at Daytona the last couple of years. And I know he's not an IndyCar guy, but racing is racing, and he knows the questions to ask, and he's smarter than the rest of us. And speaking for me, not everyone in the crew, but he's smarter than I am about trying to figure out what questions need to be asked and what the approach should be. And sometimes he's just asking questions we take for granted that everyone understands this, and we need to remember they don't, especially when we're on NBC and there are, an extra 4.5 million people watching that don't watch the other races.
No doubt.
So we need to explain some things to them, and people like Steve and Jimmy Johnson and Mike Tirico will help get that done for us.
Well, and it probably shouldn't matter, but as well as I do living around here that it would. But he saved himself. I mean, he tapped the wall, and just like Will, saved himself and got into the show yesterday. So it was all good.
And people like me would do the same thing covering the Daytona 500. Call it Indy. I just call it the 500. So I'd be in trouble there because, they think the 500 is the Daytona 500.
Then you'd have a bunch of hillbillies going, "Yahoo! Let's get that Kevin Lee." You know what I mean? It'd be all over you right then. So, and I don't even attempt to do that. Can you imagine the level of jackassery that I would provide had I been in a situation like you? You have to have a level of professionalism, and then you look at me and go, "How the hell could I ever do that?"
We need like Peacock 2 or maybe Peacock the Ocho for you. I think that's a feed we could get going. We can sell that for $5 a month.
I want to see K-League going to Talladega and then call it the Indy 500 or something and see what that'd be great. I want to be a part of your Twitter handle.
So I hosted the ARCA races for a couple of years for Fox a few years ago. So that's obviously a NASCAR fan base, and generally people have always been kind to me on social media. The only venom I think I've ever gotten are from NASCAR fans over just like common basic things, and they get very you should read the comments for any of the broadcasters or the drivers. IndyCar fans are, I know that we talk about keyboard warriors and people in their basements. Most people here are actually pretty kind. There's not too much of it. Our drivers don't take too much grief, but Jimmy Johnson tagged me on one of his tweets when he announced he was going to be part of the 500 broadcast. So I just got to look at it. This is what his world is like every day with the type of vitriol. that how could you say some of these things to another person?
I have no idea.
On Twitter do every single day.
If it's not fun and enjoyable, I don't look at it, and I don't, you know what I mean? I just can't live that way anymore. I don't know how you do.
I don't think I've ever blocked anyone because I don't get a whole lot of hate because I don't get in the Twitter arguments. I just, I'm pretty milquetoast when it comes to what I put on social media most of the time. Sometimes it's information, and I might answer a question that is helpful. And I use it to promote what we're doing in our show and to, find questions for the show. But a lot of these other people don't either, and they still get hate on Twitter. But luckily, I've been able to avoid that.
Kaylee's got you tonight. It's Kevin and Kevin on Trackside this evening at 7. In fact, every night this week at 7 o'clock for you, followed by Jake and Mike, and that is Beyond the Bricks each night at 8 o'clock. All right, race day morning, slide by, and we'll teach Tony Katz a little something. All right?
All right.
On the show.
Send some people out to Lucas Oil Raceway this Friday. We're basically doing a new version of the old Burger Bash. It's Carb Night pre-race party at Raceway Park in Brownsburg from about 5 to 7, and then Jackson races there on the Oval at 7 o'clock. So it's USF 2000, Indy Pro 2000, and then USAC Silver Crown and Midget. So there are 4 races that night. On my Twitter somewhere, I've tweeted a discount code, or on Jackson's Twitter, it's on there as well. I think it's $5 off, so it's maybe like $15 to come out and join us, and we'll have some Indy 500 personalities out there to join us on Friday.
Well, I'm a big Jackson Lee fan, so I'll absolutely do that. And I'll tell you what, a trade, too, because I'm doing a Carb Night JMV takeover on B1057 on Friday night until midnight, right after this show. Okay. So you got to call in a request on your way home after the race. All right?
All right, that sounds good.
All right, buddy. I appreciate it. Give Jackson my best. See you, bud.
All right.
It's Kevin Lee from NBC on the Andy Moore Automotive Group Hotline. Did anybody see the tart thing? I'm not going to make anything out of it, and I don't want anybody to get pissed, but I just noticed that yesterday. I thought it was a good save. Daytona, and then he went into it. It was a good save. Quick break. Back with you next.
Right now, it's a seller's market. I'm Patrick Keller with Crest Point Real Estate. Get your free home value estimate from me in 60 seconds at sellwithpatrick.com.
I love taking time out of my busy day to sit in a crowded waiting room drinking bad coffee while I get my tires changed. Said no one ever. Go Mobile Tires Indy takes the hassle out of buying tires. Choose from a huge online selection of premium tires. Get an instant quote, request an appointment, and they'll send a professional technician in one of their mobile installation vehicles to your home or office and take care of everything for you. Save time. Schedule your mobile tire change today. Go mobileindy.com. We come to you.
A reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo.
What is a no-charge appraisal? It's never asking for a credit card or charging for a home appraisal if we can't close your loan.
No risk on refinancing, but I live for danger.
With our rates at a low 2.25%, refinancing with Golden Oak is anything but risky business. Get started today at goldenoaklending.com.
NMLS 114937, 2.25% fixed, 3.195% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
We go out as a group of guys, some former players, and they are just blown away with how great my hair looks. I did the multi-unit hair grafting because I was tired of having to wear a hat.
My friend Rick DeMully, Indiana's own former professional football player, and I both know We Grow Hair Indy is the most trusted medical hair restoration clinic and the only company in the Midwest that has the ARTIS robotic FUE and multi-unit hair grafting. Call 888-724-5129 or go to WeGrowHairIndy.com. We Grow Hair Indy PRP treatments helps me keep my non-transplanted hair. Takes about 45 minutes in this busy world. It's perfect.
Having the hair that I have now has just given me confidence and just make me feel good about myself.
This year, restore your confidence and grow your hair back. Call for a free in-office or virtual evaluation. 888-724-5129 or WeGrowHairIndy.com. Today, that's 888-724-5129.
Hey, race fans. This is Tim Wicker from Electric Plus. When you're looking for an electrical contractor to take care of your next construction project, facility upgrade, or simple maintenance work, make sure you call Electric Plus to give you a professional and top quality project with the best team members in the industry. Just like race car drivers desire to be the best, the mission of Electric Plus is to be the best electrical contractor, period. Visit our website at electricplus.com to see how we can take care of your electrical needs.
Hey, John here from Mark Dietel Realty. He is the absolute best. Give him a call, 317-755-4232. MarkDietel.com. That's MarkDietel.com. So everybody says, oh, man, the real estate market, it is on fire. Well, it's only on fire as much as who you are using. And it is going to be in fuego with Mark Dietel, making sure whether you're selling your home or maybe you're looking to upgrade or downsize, he is the realtor for you. We'll get the job done right. In fact, this is what I love. Mark promises multiple offers in 3 days or we'll sell it for free. It's a guarantee for you right there, and that's what you need. Let's say you got a graduate in your family, you're downsizing, or let's say you're starting up a family and you want a little bit more space. Indeed, Mark will get the job done for you. Mark Dietel today, 317-755-4232. Tell him that I sent you, 317-755-4232. My friend Mark Dietel at markdietel.com. That's markdietel.com today.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with HeroLoan.com. VA interest rates can be up to a full point lower than conventional loans, saving you hundreds of dollars a month. You can buy a house with no money down, and there's almost never a loan limit on VA loans. VA rates are in the twos, and we're saving our clients hundreds, even thousands of dollars a month. Get the service that you deserve and apply online today at HeroLoan.com. That's HeroLoan.com, the only way to VA. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
You're no golf pro. You're just a guy trying to practice your swing without your back hurting. But you can get treatment for your back pain just like the pros do. Instead of going to your doctor first, start with Athletico Physical Therapy. With no prescription needed, their physical therapists find the source of your pain and start treating it before it gets worse. The same therapists who work with world-class athletes and elite golfers will work with you. No injuries. That's winning.
It all starts at Athletico Physical Therapy. Schedule your free assessment with Athletico.com. No prescription needed in most states.
Amazon is hiring near you, and it literally pays to start now. Get a sign-on bonus up to $1,000 on top of competitive wages. You'll do important work, learn new skills, and get orders ready as part of a dedicated team. So find a job with benefits that fits your life, full-time or part-time, day or night, and start now to get a sign-on bonus up to $1,000 before they're gone. Let's work together. Visit Amazon.com/sign-on bonus. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
There are many ways to say Miller Lite has more taste and only one more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Like this.
Miller Lite has more taste and only one more calorie than Michelob Ultra.
However you say it, it's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Beer per 12 fluid ounces. Miller Lite, 96 calories, 3.2 carbs. Michelob Ultra, 95 calories, 2.6 carbs. Taste test performed by Institute for Perception, February 2018.
Miller Lite is proud to be the official beer partner of the Indy 500. Head to your nearest store to grab a case for the race. It's Miller time. Just in time for Memorial Day at Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Get 30% off all patio furniture, wicker, Berlin Gardens poly, cast aluminum, teak, and more.
The Ride with JMV.
I want you out in front of the school with her. I'd like to have a few words with you, by God.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
I believe this was their only charting song. Was it not? I'll have to look that up, but I believe my brain is on target. My recollection is true. Steady Eddie's going to hook you up here. Dead & Company, the September the 15th. That's a Wednesday at Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center. And we got tickets for you all week. Number 5 is going to be a winner. I didn't even have to announce it. I just play the song and you guys go at it. Well done. Guys hanging around the entire time, and I love it. Rex Hampton chimes in via Twitter at JMV 1070. Are you DJing at Carb Day? Here's the situation at Carb Day. And I would love to, and I want to. The situation is as follows, however. They are done at 3. And for me to hold a drunken 3-hour show as we normally do in Pagoda Plaza and build a pyramid and all that stuff. There's not going to be anybody there, so I'm staying here. 3 until 6 on Friday, Rex. But here is the twist. The wrinkle is as follows. I'm going to go next door at 6, and then I'm going to give you a full-scale carb night JMV takeover, driver input, and more for you right next door on B105.7. So it's going to be like a Saturday night, but it's going to be on a Friday. And frankly, I think I'm kind of wussing out on Saturday night. I'll tell you why in a second. But Friday night, a carb night spectacular, all request. And we'll go no slow. We'll go no slow for this weekend, and it will be a blast. I'm still trying to get Skids in here and involved. I just can't wrap my little tiny brain around it just yet. But Skids will be involved in some form or fashion. I wanted him in here live. But I've been thinking about it, and I go, okay, how do I do that? And, man, me thinking about stuff is just trouble. But, yeah, it is going to be a blast, Rex, and I want everybody to crank it up on Friday night because I will get your race weekend for the 105th running of the Indy 500 off, and you will love it. I promise you that. Carb Night JMV Takeover Friday night on B105.7. Now, the wuss out part of this. I thought about it because I wasn't too sure early in the month that we were going to be out there and doing a pre-race show per normal. But we are. It's going to be me and Tony Katz and a cast of others out there. It'll be on these stations, 93.5, 107.5, and 1070 AM, the two FMs and the AM. And then we'll be on 93 WIBC as well, which I love because I get the intro traffic with Matt Baer, and I love doing that. You know, it's like, all right, we're trying to shoehorn a bunch of people in here all at once. How do you think traffic's going to be? Let's go to Matt Baer in the traffic center. So I get to do that, which is great, and I like working with Tony Katz. One is I like working with people that, like Tony Katz and I are absolutely stratospherically different. He'll be out there in a suit and tie, and he'll just ferment his beard on Friday night to be set for Sunday morning, and his hair, and he'll be wearing a scarf and an overcoat when it's 79 degrees, and I'll be out there in shorts looking like a clown. So we are completely different, but we enjoy doing this with one another. He's a good dude. I really like him. And I put the politics aside. I don't care about that aspect of it, but I have a good time doing that. And we'll do that beginning at 5 a.m. And I thought it crossed my mind because it's never been done before. It's kind of like back in 1977 when you had the Bandit and the Snowman, Burt Reynolds and Jerry Reed had to go to Texarkana, Texas to get Coors Light and bring it back in, 18 hours to Atlanta, Georgia for Big Enos and Little Enos Burdett. That'd never been done before. I don't think anybody's ever done an all-request all-nighter before the race. I mean, they do the old school race broadcast, which is great, but I thought about doing an all-request all-nighter, and I'll be honest with you, I kind of wussed out on it. I was talking to Sean Copeland today, and I go, man, I don't know if I can do it. I could do it if I were in studio, if I just had to go from one spot to the other. I just don't know if I can do it all night and then drive out and then do 6 hours. But it crossed my mind because much like bringing Coors back from Texarkana to Atlanta in 1977, that had never been done before, and I thought about doing it. But I wussed out, and you can blame me for that. I don't know if it's my advanced age or what, but I wussed out on it. But I will be there for you Friday night for a Carb Night all-request, no slow, spectacular. And whatever party you might be at, whatever you might be doing, we got you ready. Hey, JMV, according to Google Maps, the trip from Atlanta to Texarkana is about 9 hours and 45 minutes, 10 hours on a slow day. Taking Coors East may be bootlegging, but 24 hours is more than enough time to make the trip. Well done. That is well done. I thought about doing an all-nighter. Basically, what I would have done is been on from 6 p.m. in the evening and gone all night until I joined Tony at 5 a.m. for the pre-race, and I wussed out on that. But then the Speedway and Doug Bowles asked me to do the JMV takeover on Friday night because of Carb Day. They're not going to do what they normally do, and they wanted me to do a Carb Night JMV takeover. And I said, I'll do that, and then we'll rest on Saturday. So it's going to be fun, I promise you that. Quick break, and we'll return. I'll set you up for what's going to happen coming up tomorrow. Got a full day of Kevin Pritchard comment reaction, and we'll dive more into Julio Jones and what's not going to be a story, but is in the world of sports radio around here probably going to be a little bit of a story because it's conversations being had. I'll explain that and more coming up next. 93.5, 107.5, and 1070 The Fan.
It's racing season in Indy, and Hubler is out to win. During their record-breaking summer event, they're racing to buy more cars than ever before. Visit drivehubler.com.
Kids, tell your parents about Forum Credit Union's Sprout of the Month contest, where you could win $100 in a Sprout account. Details at 1075thefan.com.
Hey, it's John here for my friends, Lance and his team at LD Smith Plumbing. I always tell you, if something's going to happen with your plumbing, it is going to take you by surprise. It's not something that you're going to see coming, and then you got to respond, and you got to go with the people that will help you out in an emergency, and that's Lance and his local team at LD Smith Plumbing. 317-284-9526. Large or small jobs, emergencies. I have used them a number of times, especially in emergencies. They are the absolute best. 317-284-9526. Also, right now, Lance is looking for a service technician. So if you're thinking about kickstarting a career or restarting a career as a service technician, good with tools, figuring out things, jump on board with Lance and his local team because they have great pay and benefits for you. Get a sign-on bonus, health, life, vision, dental insurance, profit sharing, matching 401k. And let me tell you this, I know Lance, he is a great dude and will be a great guy to work for. So either restarting or kickstarting a career, do it with my friends at LD Smith Plumbing. 317-284-9526. Online, that's ldsmithplumbing.com today.
My name is Stacy Earhart, and I'm one of the owners of Fulton Interior Systems, a construction company here in the great state of Indiana. Every year, some construction companies illegally pay workers cash under the table. That puts companies like mine that provide a good living wage and pay payroll taxes and employee benefits at a major competitive disadvantage. These companies rob our state from over $405 million every single year. Imagine what could be done for Hoosiers with that money. Visit indianacip.com/tax fraud to learn how you can take a stand.
Springtime, Indy, and for 20 years, Rhino Shield has been covering your neighbors' homes like Rich.
Aluminum siding built in 1961. It also had a lot of stains, and it was white, and we wanted to change the color.
And Rhino Shield's not paint. It's better.
You know, we're told that it's hard to paint aluminum siding and get a good adhesion with regular paint. So Rhino Shield was great.
Celebrate Rhino Shield covering Indy for 20 years for 20% off the regular price.
They came on a Saturday and power washed everything all around the house. And then they came back and did all the work on Monday and Tuesday. And in 2 full days, they worked on a Monday and were completely done by Tuesday.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Don't paint, don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
From the first pitch to the last out, Bet Rivers Sportsbook has all the bases covered. Bet Rivers has a massive number of baseball betting options on each game, including pre-game player props and live in-game betting every inning. Sign up now and get a free play match of 100% on your first deposit up to $250. Bet with a winner. Bet with Bet Rivers Sportsbook. Must be 21 or over to play. Playable only in Indiana. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
From the beginning, the Indiana Fever have always done things our way. From starting the first professional women's league in the state to raising the trophy as champions.
Beautiful. Is that not fun to watch?
We create our own path, inspiring the next generation in the process. Join us as we write the next chapter because this is our way, unscripted.
The Fever battle the Washington Mystics on Tuesday. Get your tickets at feverbasketball.com. Fever Mystics, Tuesday at 7.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Kirby Heating and Air Conditioning. Robert Kirby says they sell the American Standard brand because American Standard listens to the techs who install and service their products.
We went down to the factory and they want your feedback. Being in the field, you can actually see some things that they could change on the product to make it better. And right there on the line, I mean, they actually take your input.
Call Kirby Heating and Air Conditioning at 317-892-3614. Kirby is your trusted local independent American Standard dealer. Hey, join me tomorrow. Charlie Kimball, last man bumped for the Indy 500 out of the field, is going to join us. Benetti's going to join us. Chappie talking Colts. Graham Rahal. Join me tomorrow. Can't wait.
The Ride with JMV.
Are you kidding?
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Reedus VK, Rakestraw and more coming at you tomorrow. I just put up a Connecticut water question of the day. By virtue of what was said by Kevin Pritchard today, will Nate Bjorkgren see year number 2 as head coach of the Pacers? Yep and nope is what we have up there. Pretty cut and dry. Will he see year number 2 as the head coach of the Pacers? It's a Connecticut water question of the day. John R. Sherrill chimes in with this. JMV, what should we grill for the race? Lucky enough, I went down to the Odin Meat Locker on Friday and got marinated turkey. Made some last night. I'll make some all week long. Seems like to me, though, if you're going to be in the backyard doing that, it's got to be something meat-wise. I'd get a nice thick sirloin, maybe a New York strip. Knock the cover off of it with some good red meat, brother. I tell you what, mix in this, too. It'll make you feel better because I'm a big fan of it now. Mix in some bison. Grab yourself some bison, a little buffalo for you coming up on Sunday. I know Daniel says Pritchard may not have the choice if he's gone too. Telling you. I'll dive more into that tomorrow. I gave you my thoughts earlier today, and we'll get back into it coming up on tomorrow's show. Ed Carpenter, Ted Bishop, Connor Daly, Kevin Lee podcast. 1075thefan.com. Steady Eddie Garrison at the controls today for the vacationing Kyle Udemark. Fantastic job, Eddie. Back with you tomorrow at 3. Job well done out of all of you inside the lounge. Free Vic Barks. 93.5, 107.5, and 1070 The Fan. Have a great night.